This is Cablevision's Closer Look, a before-the-game glimpse into high school athletics and activities. And now here's Joe Lococo.
Good evening, live and direct from Seacrest Field. It's time for high school football on Cablevision TV 9. Glad to have you along. I'm Joe Lococo. Rich Clausen will be joining me later along with a special guest. Mr. John Prosch will be stepping in and we'll be discussing high school football. And that's what we've got tonight for you on the final week of the 1979 regular season schedule. Tonight we've got the #1 team in the state of Nebraska for you to take a look at. We've seen them before. They weren't #1 then in the ratings. They are now. That is the Lincoln East Spartans of Coach Lee Zenik, that is. They've only lost one game on the year. That was to Southeast earlier on in the year. They're ranked #1 in almost all the polls in the state of Nebraska, but right now those rankings are going into the playoffs, and they're going to lose a little bit of their importance because it is playoff time. Anything can happen in the state of Nebraska. All across the state of Nebraska tonight, teams are vying to get into those final 6 teams, the final 8 teams in each class of the 6 districts, that is, and tonight there's a lot of teams that are going to be holding their breath, waiting, trying to get into the playoffs. And a lot of teams, a lot of players, coaches, and fans are going to be saddened at the end of the night. But on the other hand, there's going to be a lot of happy parents, a lot of happy players and coaches because their team's going to make it to the playoffs. Teams in Class A, such as Creighton Prep, Westside, Burke, and, of course, Lincoln East and Southeast, Grand Island, they're all almost in for sure in Class A. Some of the other teams like Fremont, Millard, Omaha Groves, they're trying to get in. Tonight we've got a team that is in, Lincoln East. They have qualified. Tonight it becomes a motivational factor for Lincoln East, the Spartans. They go into this game knowing that they're going to be in the state playoffs. There's no way, even if they lose this game, theoretically would they be eliminated from the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs, but they've got this game yet to finish our regular season. Coach Lee Zenik, I'm sure, has stressed the fact that they need momentum going into the playoffs. They do not want to end the season on a down note. They're 7-1 on the year. They want to end it 8-1. On the other hand, tonight we've got a team in Lincoln High that has nothing to lose tonight. They're 3-4-1 on the year, and they've got some things on the line, too, called pride. They've got their pride going into this game trying to finish 500 on the season under new coach Bob Starr. Starr came to this team from North Platte last year. Bob Zoner took over in North Platte, but nevertheless, Starr is 3-4-1 right now. A win would even them at 500, 4-4-1. A lot of people say Lincoln High is the best sub-500 team in the state of Nebraska. That probably is the truth. They're a good team. They haven't had a lot of breaks go their way this season. But Coach Starr has his team ready. We got a colorful game for you. The Spartans in blue and white against the Lincoln High Lynx in red and white. And it's an inter-city battle. We expect it to be a good one. It's a chilly night at Seacrest Field. If you're home, we hope you enjoy tonight's game. Relax, get comfortable. For one last time, we're glad to have you along. And once again, we think we've got a good one. As the playoff time approaches and the regular season ends here on Cablevision TV 9, don't go away. We'll be back as Closer Look continues with John Prosch, the superintendent of the Lincoln Public Schools. We're back at Seacrest Field. Glad you could join us on Closer Look. And with me, I'm glad to have Mr. John Prosch of the Lincoln Public Schools, superintendent of the Lincoln Public Schools. John, glad to have you along.
Well, thank you, Joe. Pleasure to be here.
We're going to talk about Lincoln Public Schools in general and what it takes to keep them going a little bit later on in this program. But right now, John, I want to talk about a project that you're deeply involved with, that being the United Way Fund.
Well, we're happy that you'd mention that because we'd like to put in a plug for the United Way. We had our final report luncheon yesterday, and we've reached 75% of our goal, so we still have a lot of work to do. We're going to continue to work to reach that $2 million goal, and it needs a lot of support yet.
What is the United Way for, and who does it help?
Well, it helps 28 agencies in this community, all of whom have budgets that are reviewed by a citizens committee that's also part of the United Way. And so people who give to United Way can be sure the money is used here and for purposes that have been carefully screened by their fellow citizens.
Any specific diseases involved that benefit from the United Way Fund?
No, these are not health-related agencies by and large. There are other agencies, YMCA, Family Service, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, many agencies of that kind.
And you got involved with this. You're the chairman of it this year. How's it been going?
Well, we think it's been going quite well, but as I say, there's a great deal left to do because the needs are so great. We've not reached our goal in the last 2 years, so the agencies that we serve are really starved for the support. So this is a critical year for us.
At the beginning of the year, how do you decide on a goal?
The goal is made up by the needs of the agencies as screened by the Allocations Committee of United Way.
Okay, there's a lot of people that work in factories, and I'm sure that are watching, or stores that hand out cards, the United Way cards. Maybe they misplaced them. If they want to contribute, how can they get the money in?
All of the collections are done at the places of work, except a very few that are done with retired people. And if anybody has not had a chance to participate, I'm sure they can do that at their place of work, or they can call United Way directly.
And it's not too late to send money in?
Not at all. We still have 25% of that goal to reach.
Do you think you'll make it?
We've had some very good individual reports. Lincoln Telegraph Telephone Company, for example, increased their giving over 14%. Some companies, IBM went over 20%. Burlington Northern had a great campaign, over 35% over last year. So some of the reports that are in are very good. So we're encouraged that if we can get all the reports in and make sure that everyone's solicited, we might make that goal.
Okay, best of luck to you. We're going to continue this interview with John Prosch, Superintendent of Lincoln Public Schools, and also this year, Chairman of the United Way Fund, when Closer Look continues here on TV 9. Okay. Minutes away from kickoff here at Seacrest Field. Glad to have you along. Tonight, Lincoln East against Lincoln High, and this game, John, just kind of typifies the kind of year it's been of Lincoln High athletics.
It's been a good year, and there's still a lot left to go. We've got two teams that are probably going to be in the playoffs.
That's kind of a good feeling for all the Lincoln schools.
Yes, it is. Very good feeling, but we think we have a fine program, and it's fitting that we get two teams in the playoffs.
What about your job specifically, John? You are the superintendent of the Lincoln Public Schools. That seems to be an all-encompassing job. What do you do day by day?
Well, there are a lot of different things to do, one of which is very enjoyable, coming to football games on Friday night. But I work with the Board of Education and generally serve as their executive secretary and the chief executive officer for the school system. And it is an interesting job.
I know you do you deal with the budget at all for athletics in and around Lincoln?
Yes, we have a budget in our regular school budget that supports some of the activities, and of course there are receipts here from Seacrest that also help support that.
What kind of year has it been, that money-wise?
Well, so far it's been a fairly average year. I haven't seen any final figures. I think maybe our attendance isn't quite as good this year as it's been some years, but I really haven't seen the figures yet for this fall.
Of course, if Lincoln does get a playoff game, that would help the cost.
That helps because people turn out well for the playoff games.
Lincoln has always been known as a good football town. Do you think this year the talent among the high schools has been any better than past years?
I think it's very good this year. We've had some years when it's been more even than it is this current year, but we have two very fine teams in Southeast and East, and the other two teams aren't far behind. But that's typical of our program here. This facility at Seacrest is an unusually fine high school facility and makes for a good program.
I was talking to Al Cavett before the game about this field, and he was mentioning to me that he feels it's the best one in around the area for a long ways.
I think that's probably true. I don't know of any better very near here.
Seacrest Field, talking to Al Cavett, he mentioned that there used to be a waterway here, and they built this kind of out of a waterway.
That was before my time in town, but I suppose that might be true. There's a low spot below the field here, yes.
What did you do before you were superintendent of schools?
Well, I was superintendent in Racine, Wisconsin for a number of years, and from there I went to Minneapolis, and I was director of a regional educational laboratory for a couple of years before coming to Lincoln.
Then how were you ever, I know you coached for a while.
Well, that was way back. When I first started teaching, I was coaching football as well, and I enjoyed it, and that's why I enjoy coming to the games now.
What kind of satisfaction athletic-wise do you get out of being superintendent now?
Well, it's nice to be able to get to know some of the students and to watch their progress through a season and to I have to be neutral, of course. I can never be for one team or the other when they're playing each other, but it's an enjoyable thing to do.
You were talking about the various strengths of the Lincoln schools. It's kind of good to see a team like Lincoln High, who was so strong earlier on in the years of high school football here in Lincoln. Then they had kind of a downswing in athletic success, and now this year they got a new head football coach anyway in Bob Starr, and they seem to be coming back. They're on the road back to athletic success in football.
Well, that's the way it goes for most schools. You know, not every year is a good year, and you have ups and downs as far as the material is concerned. High schools can go out and recruit their material like the Big Red does. But Bob Starr's had an excellent start, and I'm very much impressed with the progress Lincoln High's made this year, and they may throw everybody a surprise or two yet tonight.
It should be a good game. I'd like to thank you for stopping by on a cool night to be with us.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
John Price, Superintendent of Schools, Lincoln Public Schools, that is, along with Chairman of the United Fund. It's not too late to get the money in, by the way, for the United Fund. When we come back here on Closer Look, Rich Clausen's going to step in, and we're going to take a look at tonight's game featuring the #1 ranked Lincoln East Spartans against the Lincoln High Lynx on Cablevision. We're about 15 minutes away from kickoff as we prepare for the final game of the regular season of 1979 as far as our coverage here on Cablevision is concerned, regular season coverage. And with me is Rich Clausen. And Rich, tonight we've got a chance to see the #1 ranked team, the Lincoln East Spartans, a team that many people consider to be, pardon the expression, awesome.
Well, Joe, they were pretty awesome last Saturday night. They beat my alma mater, North Platte, pretty badly on this same Seacrest field. They're so well balanced in their running game and their passing game. It's equally consistent. There's really, it's hard to prepare for Lincoln East because you can't really concentrate on one part of their game, because if you let up on the other part of their game, they'll blow you out with that part too. They're just a real good, very balanced ball club.
Let's talk about a couple of players individually. Zart, the quarterback, leading passer in the state of Nebraska, Todd Zart. He's had a fine year. He's emerged as the top quarterback in the state as far as I'm concerned, especially in Lincoln Public Schools across the state of Nebraska. However, there are other good quarterbacks in the state, but Todd Zart has had the best year of any of them. Also in the backfield is McCashlin, a fine runner.
Joe, I tell you, Todd Zart is an equally fine runner as he is a drop-back passer. He's a pure passer in every sense of the word. The guy can just throw the ball a mile, and he can throw it so accurately, too. Mike McCashlin, just a very good, hard-nosed runner, and he has speed to go on the outside. Like I said, Lincoln East, with the running game and the passing game, they're so well balanced, it's hard to prepare for a team like this.
We'll get a chance to see the East offense right away. They've won the toss out in the center of the field, and they will receive the ball. So we'll get a chance to see Todd Zart and company right away. But let us not minimize the effect that the other players have on the team. The offensive line for Lincoln East High School, they're the ones who've been opening up the holes.
Exactly, Joe. The big guys up there on the offensive line. Just super efforts by all of them all throughout the season, and of course that shows in their 7-1 record to date. You can't break the long runs, and you can't complete the long pass and the passes if you don't have the coverage and the blocking in the offensive line, and they've been doing a good job for Lincoln East this year.
On the other side of the coin, I mentioned the best sub-500 team in the state of Nebraska, Lincoln High School, the Lynx of Coach Bob Starr. But tonight I understand they've got some injuries that could hinder their progress.
Joe, I was talking with Coach Starr before the game, and he was telling me that they're down to their third-string I-back, and he's going to have to play most of the game. So that's going to be pretty tough on that young man, you know, coming from third string on this big, important game. A lot of people might not think that this game is important, but like you said earlier in the pregame, a lot of pride is at stake. And as I was watching out here on the field, the emotion of the Lincoln High players is just phenomenal. They're really up for this game, and Lincoln East is up for it too. And like you said, Lincoln East wants to end the season on a high note, on a good note, going into the playoffs. And this would make Lincoln High's year if they beat Lincoln East, the #1 rated team in the state.
It sure would. We look for a good ball game. Defensively, Lincoln High has its work cut out for it, though.
Exactly, Joe. They're going to have to contain the running game, and the defensive backs are really going to have to come up with a super game to be able to stop Lincoln East.
Now, Rich, I thought you could explain the playoffs possibilities to all the fans.
Joe, do we have 15 minutes or so? The playoffs, Lincoln East is in for sure. Whether they win or they lose tonight, they're in for sure. A lot of possibilities tonight all across the state, from A all the way down to 8-man and D. The playoffs, there's a lot of things up in the air, who wins and who loses. So you'll see a lot of parents and a lot of players looking at the paper tomorrow morning and see who made the playoffs.
NSAA will come out with it as soon as possible. The computer is ready. Connie Sargent is ready over there to spit out the results. But I tell you, some friends of ours at Lincoln Pius 10th are holding their breath tonight because the Pius 10 Thunderbolts finished their season at 4-2-1. Kind of those couple losses surprising a couple of the Pius 10th fans. But Coach Vince Aldrich has a good crew over there. They've been practicing all week. They think they can get in the playoffs. There's a big game tonight in Class B down at Crete, Nebraska. Crete and Norris are going at it. If Norris wins, Pius has a chance to get in the playoffs. If Crete wins, Pius is eliminated.
Joe, I tell you, a friend of mine used to play for Crete, Greg Davidson. He was a starter and a Shrine Bowl player for him 2 years ago. And I went down to Crete and I watched the Crete Cardinals play, and they are so explosive. For Vince Aldridge, I'm sure he's hoping that Norris will win tonight's game. Chuck Sinclair said that if Lincoln Pius made it into the playoffs, he would pick them as a long shot to win the whole thing. And that shows a lot for the talent of Lincoln Pius. They won it last year, and they're just a very good team. And if Norris does pull it off, the Thunderbolts are in. But if Crete wins, you know, it's all over.
I know Norris, Coach Dennis Poole is fired up for this game. Everybody down there is fired up for this game. This is the big game of the year. They're 7-1. They're trying to end it on a winning note. Also, Southeast goes to Grand Island tonight. That'll be a key game for Coach Chuck Mazurski's Knights to make it into the playoffs. And finally, I know we'd like to add our congratulations to Lincoln Northeast High School. They finished their season last night.
Coach Bob Ells just had a very good group of players. He was undermanned a lot of times in a lot of the games this year, and he had some outstanding players on both offense and defense. And they had their highlights during the year, and I thought they were a really good team. Like you said with Lincoln High, a lot of the breaks didn't go for Northeast, but they had a very good team this year, I thought.
Well, that's the way it stands. It's playoff time. The regular season is winding down. Lincoln has a very good chance of having two teams in the playoffs and a 50-50 chance of having a home game in the first round of the quarterfinals. So that's going to do it for Closer Look tonight. I'd like to thank you for joining us all here on Closer Look. We hope you enjoyed the program. Tried to get you a variety of guests to add to your enjoyment of high school football. That's going to do it for the final segment of Closer Look. We're on our way up to the press box. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll have some more pregame festivities and the kickoff for tonight's game between the Lincoln East Spartans and the Lincoln High Lynx.
Seacrest Field in Lincoln, Cablevision TV9 Sports presents High School Football 79. Tonight, Lincoln High versus Lincoln East. This Cablevision Sports exclusive is brought to you by Television Service Company, Moorhoff Power Equipment, Cap Harding Sports Shops, Town & Country Realty, Walker Tire Company, Team Electronics, McDonald's, Hodgman Splain Roberts Mortuary, First National Lincoln, and Dairy Queen.
Back at Seacrest Field for tonight's game between Lincoln High and the Lincoln East Spartans. And Rich, as we mentioned earlier, this should be a hard-hitting affair. It's kind of a crispy night out. On the field, it's a little bit cooler, but some good hitting tonight.
Joe, it's really going to be a hard-hitting contest. Lincoln High and Lincoln East both very emotionally high for this game. A lot of people, like I said in pregame, might not think that this game is really important, but as you repeated, a lot of pride on the line.
Okay, we're about set for the national anthem as presented by the Lincoln East Marching Band. So for your listening enjoyment, along with the chance to take a look at them, here's our national anthem. Okay, national anthem completed, and we're about set for football action. Number 1 rated team in the state of Nebraska. The Lincoln East Spartans coming into this game with their potent offense. Let's run down the starting lineups. First of all, quarterback is Todd Zart. We've talked about him earlier. At right halfback is Mike McCashlin. At left half is Kevin Cole. He'll be number 33. McCashlin is number 44. The receiving core, tight end, Bob Gustafson. Number 88, a good receiver, good hands. He usually hangs on anything that he gets his hands on. Zart is not afraid to go to Gustafson. He uses his 3 ends, those being Gustafson, the flanker, number 80, Rich Teal, and the split end, number 42, Scott Schottger. Schottger, one of the leading receivers in the state, by far the leading receiver in Zart's repertoire. He likes to go to Schottger. He also likes to go to Teal and Gustafson. Let's run down the offensive line. The center is Dan Weed. The right guard is Todd Kelly. The left guard is Andy Provorst. The left tackle is Mark Omtevet, and the right tackle is Dennis Plucknett. There you have the starting lineup offensively for Lincoln East High School. They did win the toss. The enthusiasm is there. The motivational factor obviously supplied by Coach Lee Zenig.
Joe, the Lincoln High is going to come out on defense. We're going to give their defensive lineups right here real quick. The guys up front, number 70 at middle guard, Brian Fettig. Brian, a 200-pound senior. At the weak side linebacker, number 90, Rich Confer. Rich, 150-pound junior. At the weak side tackle, number 73, Rob DeBoos. Rob, 205-pound senior. At the strong side linebacker, number 38, Jim Baker. Jim, 180-pound junior. At the strong side tackle, number 77, Dario Scott. Dario, a 200-pound senior. At the right end, number 65, Randy Perez. Randy, 150-pound junior. At the weak end, number 60, Craig Lemke. Craig, 170-pound senior. At the right halfback, number 81, James Bay. James, 165-pound senior. At the monster back, number 22, Mike Patterson. Mike, 161-pound junior. At the safety, number 88, Derek Hull. Derek, 187-pound senior. At the right halfback spot, number 82, Todd Fiedler. Todd, 152-pound junior.
There you see Coach Lee Zenig trying for the 8th win in his 12-game series against Lincoln High School. East High has won 7 games. Lincoln High has won 5. Total game series of 12 games. And there you see our cameraman down on the field suffering through another night at Seacrest Field. Good times abound at Seacrest Field. If you couldn't make it out tonight, we're glad to have you along here on TV9. Hope you enjoy it. I'm Joe Lococo, alongside me, Rich Clausen. And we're about set for kickoff. Lincoln East has won the toss. And they will receive the ball. In the center of the field, there you see Weed.
Joe, something that you might see tonight with Lincoln High, they can pull all the plugs. They have nothing to lose, as you stated in the pregame. So we might see some end reverses, some halfback passes. I know Coach Starr really likes a halfback pass, maybe an onside kick or two, something like that. So Lincoln High has nothing to lose. This is their game of the year. This could make their whole season.
Lincoln High kicker teeing it up is number 91 for Lincoln High, who's not listed in the program. So we're off to a rather auspicious start, but we hope things get better. 40-yard line, they'll be teeing it off. Back deep for East High School, their trio of men. Number 33, Cole. In the center is McCashlin. And we're about set. Lincoln High will be kicking off. They're lined up at the 40. Lincoln High in their red and white uniforms, and we're underway. Harrelson with the ball on the kickoff return. He brings it up, goes down right about the 30-yard line.
Joe, good tackle there by number 42 for the Lynx, Craig Mulligan. Joe, that kick sailed all the way back to the 5-yard line. That's a heck of a kick for a high school kicker.
Good game tonight at Seacrest Field. Also another good game, Southeast and Grand Island. So there is a lot of football going on. Todd Zart looking over the defense of Lincoln High School. They come up in a 5-man setup. Nobody lined up across from the center, and Cole gets the first handoff. He breaks loose over right tackle for a good gain as the East High offensive line controls the line of scrimmage on the first play. It'll be first down and 10 as Cole gets enough yardage for the first down. So one play from scrimmage, and Lincoln East has the initial first down of the game. Over the ball is Dan Weed. Kelly and Provorst, the guards, Omtvedt and Kluckner at the tackles. Todd Zart calling the signals as the Lincoln High secondary switches around. And this will be McCashlin on his first attempt of the night. He stopped for short yardage. It's right over there for Lincoln High School. It's Rob DeBooth along with Randy Perez, a couple of strong tacklers. Now look at DeBooth. He's fired up tonight. They're working on pride tonight, and they're working to get to the 500 level under Coach Bob Starr. Coach Bob Starr, I do not believe, is on the sideline again. He likes to watch the game from up in the press box and relays his message down on the field. And there's Cole breaking through, and he may go. He's gone. Touchdown, Lincoln East on the third play from scrimmage. Kevin Cole, returning letterman, 155 and a junior, goes the distance, and East High's on the board. Their explosive offense strikes again. 6-0, East High up as Cole goes over some good blocks in the center of the line with Kelly and Provorst leading the way. Schottger, Gustafson, and Teal thus far haven't been used, but then East High's only run 3 plays. Kicking the ball will be Eubanks, Kurt Eubanks, a letterman, 155 and a senior. Ball's down, the kick's up, and good. East High chalks up 7 points on the kick by Eubanks. And there you have it, 3 plays from scrimmage, all 3 running plays, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, and then Cole to the end zone, and East High leads 7-0. Lincoln High defense kind of shocked on the field. They were fired up just before that play. A couple missed tackles in the secondary after Cole got through the initial line of scrimmage. And he broke loose from another tackle, and that was the last man. He had some downfield blocking, and it was bye-bye Cole. Teeing the ball up will be Hatton for Lincoln East. Hatton's been assuming most of the kicking duties except extra points after the injury to Eubanks. Eubanks a fine kicker, fine baseball player also. Hatton puts his foot into it. A little mix-up for Lincoln High. It's taken at about the 15-yard line, and he goes down around the 28-yard line. So Lincoln High will get the ball for the first time of the game. Let's run down their lineup offensively for Lincoln East High School. Gaines is the center, Rogers and Lemke the guards, DeBooth and Rettig the tackles. Galois is the tight end, Fiedler is a split end. The wingback is Patterson, and it'll be Mulligan and Harrison in the backfield. A man to watch instead of Udofia is Harrison, number 32. Dale Nichols is the quarterback. First play, they go up the middle for very short yard. Second down and 9. Ball's at the 29-yard line. .9:55 to go. We're just underway. Nichols rolling out, but he's going to keep the ball, and he's wrapped up at the 30-yard line. Good tackle by number 50 of Lincoln East. That, of course, is Jeff Lade, a 186-pound senior. As the seniors from Lincoln East High School playing their last game, and the seniors from Lincoln High School in their last game. Carey and Bauer, among others, Bill Tesh, Chelavea, Mull, Hopper, Udofia, Crickshank, Harrison. They're all seniors for Lincoln High School playing in their final high school football game. 3rd down and 8. The whistle blows. This play will not count. We've got either too much time or an offside. Looks like it's going to be illegal procedure against Lincoln High School. Let's see. There it is. Illegal procedure against the Lynx. Somebody was either lined up offside or moving before the snap of the ball. 9:17 to go in the first quarter. East High leads 7-0 over the Lincoln High Lynx. Lincoln High has a 3rd down and 13. It was 3rd and 8 before the penalty. Now it's 3rd and 13. Lincoln High lines up with Galois on the far side. Nichols is going to the air for the first time tonight if he can get it away. He's scrambling back there. He's got a man, and complete at the 36-yard line. Nice catch to Fiedler, I believe. And it's still going to be short of a first down. They're going to measure, I believe. 4th down and 1. Lincoln High is still short of the first down. A gain of 12 on the play. They're going to bring the measures. The yardsticks over, and Rich.
Joe, on the 4th down here, I think you might see Lincoln High go for it if they don't have it. Guess not this early in the game.
4th down and 1, exactly 9 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Let's see if Lincoln High likes to go for broke here or else kick it away. East High anticipates a punt. Lincoln High going to give up possession of the ball. Back deep for Lincoln East is Schottger. He's on the near side. Teal's on the far side. The two ends are back deep as punt return men. Low spiraling kick coming down at the 24-yard line. That's Schottger trying to get to the wall on the far side. He's got a little bit of room. He's a good punt returner. Stays on his feet. And he's out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Good return by Scott Schottger.
Joe, excellent balance shown by Scott Schottger. He jumped over one of his own teammates. Did a little Johnny Rogers move there when he put his hand down to the ground. An excellent job of returning the punt. Lincoln East, again, like we've seen them all this year, they've come so close to breaking them every time.
East with the ball. You know what happened the first time they had their hands on the ball. 3 rushing plays, and it ended up on a touchdown run by Cole. Zart looking over the defense, calling his signal. Split backs, McCashlin and Cole. Teal's on the near side, and Zart's going to the air. He's going to Teal on the near side. Whoops, he overthrows him. Almost picked off by Rick White.
Joe, Rick White on that play. The ball was in his hands, and he couldn't believe it. The ball was there. It was just like, look who gave me the ball, and he just couldn't catch it. He tried to run with it, and you have to have the ball before you can run.
East High with a good football team. Number 1 team in the state of Nebraska. First time this year we've had a chance to see a number 1 team. We've seen East High before, but they weren't ranked number 1 then. Zard keeps the ball himself on a quarterback sweep. Very short gain. East High's had a good year for football among the high schools, even going down the ranks at their 9th grade level. The freshmen tied for the city championship with Lincoln Northeast. They ended the year 4-1-1. So our congratulations to the 9th graders at Lincoln East who shared the city title with Northeast. Got beat by Northeast early on in the year. Our congratulations to Northeast 9th graders too, of course. 3rd down and 6. Zart's going to the air. He's got Schottger on the near side, but he's going across the field. Throws a rainbow pass, and it is knocked down, incomplete.
Joe, Rich Teal did an excellent job there of preventing the pass interception. Todd Zart looked like he was going to go to his left and threw back to his right. Didn't have enough mustard on the ball. The pattern was very well covered, and the receiver, Rich Teal, did an excellent job of making sure that the ball was not intercepted because that was well underthrown.
Zart's primary receiver on the play was Schottger on the near side, but he went to Teal. He elected to go to Teal on the far side, and it falls incomplete. 4th down and 6, and Lincoln East has to give up possession of the ball. The ball will be snapped from the 33-yard line, or correction, 43-yard line. There we go. And the Lincoln High player falls on the ball at the 30-yard line. That was number 21 for Lincoln High School, Ken Hopper.
Ken's a small guy, Joe. He's only 135 pounds out there. And if I was out there on the field and only weighing 135 pounds, I'd call for fair catch, too.
Kind of slipped to the ground. It's a little bit sloppy in between the hash marks, but this field is in good shape. The groundskeepers have kept this field in remarkably good shape for the amount of games that have been played on this field this year. Handoff up the middle to Harrison, and Harrison dives through the line of scrimmage for 4 yards or so.
Lincoln High really opening some good holes in the Lincoln East defensive line, Joe. That was a good run.
2nd down and 6. Credit Harrison with 4 yards on the last play. 7-0. Lincoln East leads over Lincoln High. We're 7 minutes away from the end of the first quarter. Glad to have you along. Hope you're enjoying it. Staying warm in the comfort of your own living room or wherever you may be watching tonight's game. 2nd down and 6 for Lincoln High School. Pretty good crowd on hand considering the weather. On the near side, just below us, are the East High fans as Nichols goes back to pass and throws over the middle. Complete. Nice catch. Number 82 for Lincoln High School. That's Fiedler.
Joe, the people we were expecting to see the aerial show from was Todd Zart and company, and Nichols is just doing an excellent job of picking the Lincoln East secondary apart. Those passes are just pinpoint.
For some of the charter members of the Lococo fan club, I believe. 1st down and 10. Nichols tries to find a receiver, but he slips down at the 40-yard line. That was Ken Hopper.
Joe, on the 2 receptions that Lincoln High has completed, it's been the tight end and the backs coming out from the backfield. And to freeze the linebackers, the Lincoln High quarterback is using a lot of play action and pass action, fakes and dives into the middle and then passing to freeze the linebackers to allow his backs to get open in their secondary.
New flanker in the game is Ron Moll. He's lined up on the near side off the right tackle's shoulder. But the handoff's going to Harrison and very little running room on a 2nd down and 10 play. Moll, I mentioned, he's got good speed. He'll be going out of the game. Trotting off the field, number 20, Ron Moll. He's a 146-pound senior, another senior playing his final game. Coming in the game, the man he alternates with is Ken Hopper.
Met there by John Irwin and company.
3rd down and 11. East High defense digging in. Look for a pass. Nichols has the I formation. Slot back on the near side. Now they break out of the I, sending Harrison in motion on the far side. Nichols scrambling for his life. He is attacked by Spartans.
Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Joe, he had Harrison on the left side of the line wide open. There was nobody over there covering for Lincoln East, but there was so much pressure from the left side of the Lincoln East defensive line that he couldn't get the ball back over to him.
Not only that, but it would have been an across-the-field pass.
Exactly.
Those are dangerous. 4th down and 10 for Lincoln High School. Back to punt is number 81, Beatty, I believe. 4th down and 10 with 5:41 to go. Correction, that's our mysterious number 91 kicking. Here comes Schottger on the near side return, and he is down at the 25-yard line. So East High takes over possession of the ball.
That time Scott Schottger showed excellent balance, breaking the tackle and keeping his balance to get a couple more yards. The Lincoln High defender on that play, Derek Hull, just played off the block just beautifully and got to the tackle.
Let's run down the defense for Lincoln High School. Middle guard is Rettig, Confer and Baker as the backers, Scott and DeBoose at the tackles, Perez and Lemke at the end. We'll finish the lineup after this play. Kind of a busted play as East High is stacked up for very little gain. Also in there for Lincoln High is Patterson at Monster, Hull at safety, Fiedler at one halfback, and Bauer at the other halfback. We see Udofia in the game also. Nat Udofia making an appearance in the defensive secondary.
Joe, on that play, the tackles for Lincoln High pinched and just caught the Lincoln East runner just right. Made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Rich, you talked to Bob Starr before the game. Any indication why Udofia is playing on defense and not on offense?
Have no idea, Joe. He's listed on offense on our stat sheet at as the number 3 I-back. As you noted before the game, he started at I-back, you know, for the Lynx. Coach Starr really didn't give me any indication why, you know, Udofia didn't start at offense. Maybe he has a minor injury, and Coach Starr doesn't want to plague it any by playing him both ways.
Intended pass for Teal, no good. 3rd down and 10, 4:42 to go in the first quarter. Todd Zard comes up. Teal's on the near side, or is that Schottger? That's Teal on the near side. Screen pass to Cole, and Cole is stacked up short of a first down. It's going to be 4th down for Lincoln East.
Lincoln East really mixing it up in the air, Joe. You know, the Lincoln East receiving corps has been getting down the field, but both passes that we've seen thrown deep have been way short, and Lincoln High is just doing an excellent job of covering on the pass plays.
Let's finish running down some of these seniors for Lincoln High School. We're going to do this throughout the entirety of this game, giving mention to the seniors who are playing their final high school game. Also Mulligan, Craig Mulligan, Gary Jorgens, Scott Barron, Craig Lemke. We'll get to others after the punt. Fair catch called for at the 40-yard line, and it is received by Lincoln High. That is Hopper, number 21. Some more seniors for Lincoln High School. Rodney Rogers, number 67. Brian Rettig, a tackle, number 70. Rob DeBoose, a fine player for Lincoln High School. Jeff Gaines, Dario Scott, John Mazer, Tracy Hudnall, James Beatty, Mike Carpenter, Doug Guys, and Derek Hall complete the senior roster for Lincoln High School. Those guys playing their last game. Wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. 1st down and 10. Pitch out to Udofia. He's in the game now, Rich, at I-back. And there you see the reason why they need him in the game. Nat Udofia sweeping the left end, the far side of the field. and he's got a good gain for the Lynx.
Joe, what helped make that play a big gainer for Lincoln High is that the receiving core of Lincoln High was blocking downfield, and the running back coach over there, Dave Gillespie, a former Nebraska Cornhusker, who's a coach now for the Lynx, was cheering on the receivers and giving them some credit, some verbal credit for blocking downfield and keeping on their blocks. That really helps a good long run.
Gain of 9 for Udofia, 2nd down and 1. Nichols hands it off to Udofia, going right this time, but this time he doesn't find the same amount of room that he found on the other side of his offensive line. He's stacked up by Doug Laird, rather. Laird was in there, also Tom Hatton around the ball.
Doug Laird playing off the block of the right tackle for Lincoln High made a real good play on Udofia, and he was stacked up by 3 or 4 East defenders.
3rd down and 2. The ball is located just inside the near hash mark. Lincoln High with a tight formation. Fiedler on the near side, but Nichols says he's going to take it himself for the 1st down, and he's got the 1st down. Good blocking in the center of the line by Gaines, Rogers, and Lemke. There you see number 73, Rob DeBooth. He's fired up tonight.
Joe, when the big guys up front say there's no stopping us now, it's almost a guaranteed 1st down when the quarterback just goes right over that right guard or that left guard in the center. Good job by Lincoln High.
1st down and 10. 2.5 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Nichols, the quarterback. He's going to the air this time. Unless he keeps it, he's going to overthrow his receiver. He was trying to go to Mull. Trying to hit Mull on a down and out.
Had him out there, Joe. Again, they used the pass play action, the fake into the line to freeze the linebackers, and Mull was just wide open on that play. Would have been close to a 1st down.
I tell you, Rich, this is such an important time of the year for high school football fans across the state of Nebraska. So many people are going to be looking at that sports page tomorrow morning to find out the results. The NSAA, of course, won't be able to compute it overnight, so you might look in Sunday's paper for the results. There, of course, will be unofficial projections. I know Chuck Sinclair is working on it, and Larry Porter of the World Herald. Nichols sweeping right in. Down he goes at the 43-yard line. Lincoln Pius 10th is one team tonight that's holding their breath.
What's your prediction, Joe, for the Norris outcome? I know you're Norris grad.
No doubt about it. The Titans will emerge victorious. 3rd down and 6, 2:17 to go. Crete is a fine team, though. Ted Reel in the center of that line. Class B football, a good year for Class B football. I know Norris lost its first game to Nebraska City 7-6. That's a game in which Scott Porter was injured, Scott being the younger brother of Budge. 3rd down and 6. Nichols going over the middle. He's got a man, but he can't find it. Receiver was going one way, Fiedler was going one way, and the ball was going the other. So Lincoln High almost came through, but couldn't quite. 4th down and 6, and Lincoln High is going to have to punt the ball.
Something that you can see, Joe, in the difference of the 2 passing games between the 2 teams. Lincoln High going to the middle and working with the middle of the field more, as Lincoln East on their passing attempts has gone deep. With the exception of the one screen, they've gone deep on both passes.
Bauer at the 45-yard line, back deep, Teal and Schottger. Teal's on the far side, Schottger on the near side. Kicker aiming it towards the coffin corner, but he hits Schottger at the 25, and Schottger's up to the 33-yard line before he's tackled by a host of Link defenders.
Number 61 for the Lynx, that's Craig Ohnberger, had a really good chance of getting in there, and he didn't, but the rest of the Lincoln High defenders closed in on him.
1st down and 10 for Lincoln East High School. 1 minute and 53 seconds to go in the 1st quarter. Some faithful fans below us for both teams. East High's on the near side, Lincoln High's on the far side with their big Lynx sign up. Cheerleaders out in mass for both teams. They've got to be cold tonight. 1st down and 10. Lincoln East. Zart, the quarterback, hands it off to the first man through. That's Cole. And Cole was stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Good play by the interior of the Lincoln High defense.
There you see some Cole fans on your TV set. They're out here and enjoying the game between Lincoln High and East.
The series goes back to the first year when East High was formed. That was 1967. Lincoln High won that first game 54-0 over Lincoln East High School. Needless to say, East High has come back since that opening loss to Lincoln High. We'll continue on that vein in a second. 2nd down and 6. Hand off to the first man through again. He's dragging Rob DeBooth, I believe, for extra yardage. Hand off to McCashlin. Saw Dick McCashlin out here at Seacrest Field before the game tonight. Dick McCashlin, one of the members of the Lincoln East Booster Organization we talked to a couple weeks ago on Closer Look. He's proud of Mike. Mike's had a good year. Start going to the air. He's got Gustafson, the big tight end, hauls it in at midfield. He goes down in Lincoln High territory. It'll be a first down and 10 for Lincoln East.
And boy, what a big tight end he is too. He's about, I'd say about 6'3" or so, and about 210 pounds. When he gets into college ball, he'll put on about 20 more pounds. A big target, easy to hit.
He gets in that weight training program of Boyd Epley's if he elects to go to Nebraska. Put on more than that. First down and 10. Lincoln East with the ball on the near side. Zart hands it off to the first man through a fumble, and Lincoln High comes up with it. On the ball for Lincoln High is number, let's see if we can get a number 75.
Boy, there's opportunity knocking at the door there for Lincoln High.
Jeff Gaines, the center. Returning letterman, 210, a senior. And there you see some of the Lincoln High fans with their red balloons in hand. Mittens on the hand, first of all. First down and 10. Under a minute to go. In the game is Udofia at I-back. Mulligan's at fullback. Hopper's a wingback on the far side. Fiedler split out on the far side. Udofia trying to go over right tackle, gets some good yards up to the midfield stripe just into East High territory.
Joe, Bob Gustafson down on the field for Lincoln East. That's the second time he's been down tonight. Looks like he just got the wind knocked out of him. Udofia really running tough. I know Coach Bob Starr is really happy to have him back in the offensive lineup.
Gustafson, the big tight end, caught the pass on the previous plays by Lincoln East. Let's run down that East High defense while we have a minute here. The middle guard is Rick Taylor. Left tackle is John Irwin. Right tackle is Bob Gustafson, the man currently down on the field. The right end is Jeff Lade. The left end is Doug Laird. Monster man is Mike McCashlin. Monster Mike back there, number 44. Linebackers are Todd Kelly and Tom Hatton. And in the secondary, Kurt Eubanks, Jeff Harrelson, and Troy Armagost. 210 and the senior, Gustafson. Sandy-haired youngster coming off the field. Coach Lee Zenik obviously relieved that Gustafson came off the field under his own power. That's always good to see. Ball's just past the midfield stripe on second down and 6. This will be the last play of the first quarter. Handoff goes to Udofia, very short yardage, and that's going to do it for the first quarter as Udofia gains short yardage. And at the end of one quarter of play here at Seacrest Field, the score, Lincoln East 7, Lincoln High 0. We'll be back with more after this. Back for another quarter of action. Glad to have you along. I'm Joe Lococo, Rich Clausen also describing tonight's game. Hope you're enjoying it. It's a good ball game. Lincoln High staying close through one quarter, 7-0. Nichols flooding the right side with Udofia, and Udofia heard a few footsteps on the way. He heard big number 70, Tom Hatton, a 160-pound senior coming his way. And Udofia couldn't come up with the ball. Good pass by Nichols.
Udofia reaching for the ball just at the last second, pulling his hands back. He heard the footsteps of number 70 coming right at him.
Fourth down and 5 for Lincoln High School. Schottger and Teal in their usual formation as punt return men. Bauer back to kick for Lincoln High School. Lincoln High's had the kind of year that a couple breaks here and there, and it could have gone another way. We'll talk about their season more after this. Bauer going for the corner again. A low kick. Doesn't give his team much time to get down to the cover, but this time it's going to go down about the 23-yard line.
Joe, you know, you've got to feel that the Lincoln High defense has got to be pretty confident right now. Besides that one long run, that one big play by Lincoln East, they've really shut down the Lincoln East attack. The passing game has not been working for Lincoln East tonight. The running game has. I expected to see a lot, more passing success from Todd Zart.
Lincoln High had 2/3 of their win total for the year after 3 games. They defeated North Platte 14-12, Scottsbluff 24-7, along with the tie to Columbus. There's Rich Teal on a pass. Good moves in the center of the field as he was moving towards the center of the field on a slanting pattern, and it'll be first down and 10 for Lincoln East High School. Todd Zart starting to warm up a little bit. Might have been cold coming out of that locker room. East High players came on the field before the game started. Before they even got dressed out, paraded around the field a little bit, checking out the conditions. Those receivers have to know where they're going, have to know where the wet spots are, where they can make their moves. First down and 10 for the Spartans. Lincoln High in a 4-man front on defense. 2 backers and 2 ends laying off the line of scrimmage. Long count from scrimmage, but Zard gets away with it. Hands it off to the first man through. He drags people forward for about 7 yards. We'll find out the exact total in a second. We mentioned Lincoln High's season after they defeated Scotts Bluff. They also had the tie to start the year with Columbus 0-0. They then lost to Lincoln Northeast. They lost to Grand Island and Southeast before they came back to beat Beatrice for their 3rd win of the year. Then last week they lost to Fremont 16-7. Fremont, a good team, has a chance to qualify for the playoffs in District 5. McCashman sweeping left end, very little running room. Fine tackle by Lincoln High.
Joe, on that last play by Lincoln East, not this one, but the one previous, Lincoln High was in a 53 defense. Then they switched into a weak eagle defense where they take the linebackers and they line them directly in back of the tackles instead of in between the middle guard and the tackles, and Todd Zard audibled at the line.
3rd and 4. Zard coming on a misdirection play to the near side to Cole, and Cole slips down at the 37-yard line. 10 minutes to go in the second quarter as Cole goes down. It'll be 4th down and 4 for Lincoln East. You see their offensive unit coming punting team, there we go, coming on the field.
And you talked about a place to slip down. That right there, Joe, looks like the worst place on the whole field. And it just is unfortunate that he slipped right there.
Hopper and Mole back deep for Lincoln High School. Laird gets off a good punt. He gets past the 2 return men. It's going all the way down. Is he going to make it in the end zone? It doesn't look like it, and Lincoln High player falls on it. It's going to be inside the 5-yard line. There you see Hopper slamming the turf with his fist. That punt kept bouncing and bouncing. A long punt for Laird. Around 51 yards, I believe.
A big punt there, Joe. 66-yard punt by Lincoln East. Boy, that one just rolled just beautifully. The Lincoln High defender misjudged the ball, and then he was hoping to block the Lincoln East players from getting the ball down at the 1-yard line. That was a good play.
Lincoln High has their backs to the wall, deep in their own territory. East High defense stacking it in. A lot of men on that line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Udofia, and Udofia is stacked up after a short game. East High School's won the last 2 games in this series. Last Lincoln High victory came in '76 when they beat East 7-6. Since that time, East 2 years ago beat Lincoln High 34-13. Last year was 29-7. 2 yards for Udofia. 2nd down and 8 as Lincoln High brings in a couple players. Mull, the flanker, coming in with the play along with Mulligan, a running back. But check that, number 71 coming in the game. That's Randy Wymore. Nichols is the quarterback. Bill Tesh, a quarterback early in the season for Lincoln High. Now they've elected to go with Nichols the last 3 or 4 games. Nichols kind of adds a new dimension to their offense. And there you see one of the reasons why, his ability to tuck the ball away and turn it upfield.
Joe, something else that's pretty neat for a new dimension is the head coach up in the press box calling the plays. Evidently, Coach Starr saw something in the Lincoln East alignment on maybe a 2nd down and long play and decided to go wide. That really adds something to the game.
3rd down and 1. Good gain for Nichols. He picked up 5 yards. Correction, 7 yards for Nichols. 7 and 45 seconds to go in the second quarter. Nichols with the ball, hands it off to the first man through over right tackle, and he is stacked up. Let's see if he's got enough for the 1st down. Since Udofia has come in the game, he's been used quite a bit by Lincoln High. That was Udofia on the play, and he carried it past the 12-yard line, 13-yard line. It'll be 1st down at the, let's call it the 14-yard line for Lincoln High School.
Joe, this game right here is being fought right where it should be, right down in the trenches. Whoever's going to win this ball game is going to win it at the line of scrimmage.
Gaines comes over the ball for Lincoln High School. Rogers and Lemke alongside him. Rettig and DeBoos alongside the guards. Nichols dropped as he rolled out. He had a couple receivers going deep. He had Fiedler on the near side, and he had Galois, the tight end, on the far side, but both of them were covered like blankets on a cold night.
Oh, for sure. And they had a back coming out of the backfield, Harrison, Joe, and he was just covered by a linebacker for Lincoln East. It was almost like Lincoln East knew what patterns they were going to run, and they just stayed on it. Just real stick.
Scoreboard trying to figure out how far. They're going to call it 1st or 2nd down rather at 19 yards. There you see the East High defense, a 5-man front. Up front for Lincoln East, Taylor, Gustafson, Lade, Irwin, and Laird from right to left. Nichols on the pitch out. Look out. It's picked up. Now it's dropped, and we're going to have a safety call. There you see it, a safety official signal. 2 hands held over the head together. Picking up the ball is number 70 for Lincoln East. That is Tom Hatton.
Joe, and Merlin Borgiali on that play injured his finger, so that might not be such a smart, play for Lincoln East. Of course, they got the 2 points, but let's hope Merlin's not injured. They're going to need him going into the playoffs.
Lincoln High's running back had the ball for a second, then he dropped it again. There you see some of the Lincoln East fans in attendance this evening. So it is now 9-0. And after a safety, you don't kick the ball off from the 40-yard line. You tee it up at the 20-yard line, or you can hold the ball at the 20-yard line, such as a punt. You can do it either way, but it comes from the 20-yard line. So not only does it tack 2 points more onto the East High total, but also East High will get the ball probably inside Lincoln High territory, inside the 50-yard line.
Joe, I'm sorry, that wasn't Merlin Borgiali. That was number 76, John Irwin, and he's a real big important part. And let's hope and Lincoln East is right now is hoping that he's not too injured.
First down and 10. As soon as East High gets the ball, it'll be Teal on the far side, Cole on the near side, Harrelson in the middle, 3 deep for Lincoln East High School. Lincoln High lining up for the usual kickoff. Bauer holding the ball. It looks like he's going to elect to hold the ball and kick it. So it'll be just like a punt, only it'll be coming from the 20-yard line. East High with a bunch of players close. There's the kickoff. It's coming down to Teal on the far side. He's trying to get to the wall in the middle. And there you see it. East High will have the ball at the 47-yard line. Good field position, and they lead 9-0 after the safety.
Joe, Lincoln High is really here. Has got to really stiffen up, and hopefully, what they're thinking right now is that they want to go into the half at least not down by more than 9 and maybe get a score themselves.
Tom Hatton covering that football, covering the player for Lincoln High who had the football in the end zone. That's the 2-point safety. McCashlin gets the ball on the carry, trying to go over his right side of the offensive line, but the left side of the Lincoln High defense put the clamps on him. Rob DeBooth getting up, number 73, right there for the tackle.
This Lincoln High defense, Joe, is so pumped up. Boy, they are just ready to play football out there.
East High comes up, shotgun split in on the near side, Teal's on the far side. Gustafson lined up on the far side also, but Teal, or Zard, elects to come to the near side. And he is tackled by Rob DeBooth again. Rob DeBooth knows where the ball's at. One of the finest, if not the finest, defensive players that we've seen this year in Capital City football.
Joe, on that play, Lincoln High had 5 defenders, the nickel defense in there, 5 defensive backs in the defensive backfield guarding against the pass.
There's a man we might keep our eye on, number 88, Big Bob Gustafson. He was injured earlier. He shook off the injury. He's lining up on the near side, strong side to the short side of the field. Teals on the near side. He's working against his man, but Zart goes to the center of the field, complete at the 25-yard line. Fine pass by Todd Zart. As this time, Zart's dart finds Kevin Cole, a 155-pound junior.
Joe, they had a weak linebacker side fire blitz on that play. Didn't get there quite in time. They completed the pass.
First down and 10. Zart likes what he saw last time. He's doing it again. It's complete to Teal. Shakes off a defender, that is, and gets it down for a good game.
Joe, the balance of these Lincoln East receivers and return people just amazes me. They're just doing such a well job. When they catch the ball, the first thing a receivers coach wants the receiver to do is to look for the goal line and get downfield. And they're just doing a super job of that. 4
yards on the last completion from Zart to Teal. So Todd Zart comes up. He's got Schottger, the only man on the near side. Scott Schottger split out on the near side, the wide side of the field. Zart could be audibling at the line of scrimmage. Hands it off to the first man through. Like Cashlet for short yardage as he's wrapped up by, guess who? Rob DeBooth, number 73. I tell you, Rob DeBooth, I think, gives about 210% every game.
Exactly, Joe. Boy, and everybody on that Lincoln High defense is just pumped up.
Third down and 3. Zart brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Quick pass over the middle. His arm was deflected as he threw it, as Randy Perez got to him along with number 94, Lincoln High School. Number 90 not listed in the program. It's Confer, Rich Confer, there we go. Used to be old number 14, now he switched to 90. 4th down and 3. Zart coming off the field. We're going to have a timeout on the field. Todd Zart not quite knowing what he wants to do, his coach wants to do. Lee Zinnick on a 4th down and 3. So this time, instead of the coach going out into the huddle, he elects to have the one player come out and talk to him. You cannot do both under that new experimentation rule.
Joe, coming up at halftime for the people at home, we're going to have a player from Lincoln East who is injured this year, number 74 for the Spartans, Jim Lucky. And Jim was injured earlier this year, and they're really expecting big things from him in the defensive line next year for the Lincoln East Spartans. And he's going to talk to us on how this Lincoln East ball club is feeling going into the playoffs. They're going to be number 1 if they win this game. Going into the playoffs, and there's a lot of pressure there. And he's going to kind of give us an insight of what it's like as an injured player to see his teammates out there playing on the field. Should be really interesting.
Okay, that's coming up at halftime, so don't go away. Also, as usual, you'll be able to enjoy the halftime festivities that are planned here at Seacrest Field. 4th down and 3. They've got a good kicker in Eubanks, but the ball is at the 17-yard line, 10 yards in the end zone. It'd be 27 plus 7 or 8 yards back from center, so it'd be around a 35-yard field goal attempt, but I doubt if Lee Zinnick will choose to use that plan. I didn't think so. He's going for it. He's got McCashlin and Cole in the backfield. Teal split out on the far side. Gustafson lined up on the far side. Schottker on the near side. Zard keeps it himself, turns it upfield. Let's see if he's got enough. Lincoln High defenders looking a little bit sad, and that's why. 1st down for Lincoln East.
Very good place to get a 1st down, too, Joe. Right outside the 10-yard line. That means if Lincoln East drives it down on the ground, they get inside the 5 to the 3-yard line, they can still get a 1st and goal.
4th down is always a nice time to have a 1st down, too. 1st down and 10. Todd Zart, no, he keeps the ball. Trying to get in the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Lincoln East. Todd Zart going over left end, got some good blocks.
Just zigzagging right through the Lincoln High defenders, Joe. That was a good play by Todd Zart, picking his way through the holes. That's when it's important. When a quarterback knows where his offensive linemen are, he knows where the blocks are going to be and who's going to be taken out of the play. And I think on that play, Todd Zart knew where the blocks were going to be. He knew who was going to be down. He knew his offensive lineman would just blow him away, and they did a really good job. Todd Zart, good reading of the offensive blocks.
Covering those 13 yards, Zart goes over left end, cuts it back in the center of the field, and this brings in Kurt Eubanks as Lincoln East leads 15-0. Eubanks trying to make it 16 out of a Jeff Henricks hold, and he does precisely that. 16-0. Lincoln East leads over Lincoln High School in the 2nd quarter. 3 minutes and 43 seconds to go before halftime. East High with another drive down the field. So East High has jumped out to a lead. 1st down and 10 when Lincoln High gets the ball, of course. Kicking it off for Lincoln East High School. At the 40-yard line is Hatton. Hatton does the kickoffs. Also on that team is Ted Arkfield, along with Steve Miller. And the others on the East High kickoff team. It's coming down to Udofia on the near side. Trying to get to the far side. He can't do it. Turns it upfield, ducks it under at around the 27-yard line. So there you see it. East High 16-0 over Lincoln High. We're glad to have you along on this, the final season, regular season of the 1979 high school football season. 9 weeks of high school football. Had some Saturday games for you. We hope you've enjoyed them. 1st down and 10, Lincoln High School. Hand off to the second man through. That's Udofia coming from the I-back. He's good for short yardage, about 3 yards. Let's call it 2nd down and 7, possibly 8. Right around the 3-minute mark before halftime. Lincoln High School needs to get something going. In the past, they've been noted as a team that likes to score just before the end of halftime. So don't leave for the refrigerator too soon, because Lincoln High may come up with a surprise here. Nichols, the quarterback. Udofia dotting the I. Nichols pitches it out to Udofia. But look at that East High defense swarm. Not just one guy or 2 guys, 4 guys around the ball. Teal was there along with Eubanks, along with Dan Plucknett. They were all there. The East High defense, Tom Hatton also getting in there. As we mentioned, some of the East High seniors Todd Zart, of course, a senior. Ted Arkfield, Jeff Harrelson. 3rd down and 6, by the way, for Lincoln High School. Jeff Grenemeyer, another senior. Scott Schottger, a senior. They'll miss him next year. McCashlin, a senior. No doubt about McCashlin's absence next year. Eubanks is a senior. Troy Armagost, a senior. Jeff Lade, Phil Green, Dan Weed, Rick Taylor. As Nichols puts it up, complete. A fine catch, and what a landing at the 45-yard line. That's Todd Fiedler. Penalty flag down on the play. Let's see what the penalty is. It looked like a late flag almost on the hit of the receiver. They'll be talking to Nichols along with number 61 from Lincoln High School. That's Rogers, the right guard, Rodney Rogers. So we'll see what it is. A fine catch by Fiedler. Fine pass from Nichols. Lincoln High offense has the ability to move.
Hold on.
3rd down and 6. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go before halftime. Mole coming back in the game. We mentioned this series also dating back to 67. Penalty against East High refused. Interference downfield. There you see a myriad of East High cheerleaders. 1st down and 10. Ball's on the 45-yard line. Coming over center is Gaines. Rogers and Lemke flanking Gaines. DeBoos and Rettig on the outside. Nichols looking over the middle. He's got his tight end, Galois. And Galois goes down. Let's see if he's got enough for a 1st down. He had to get to the 45-yard line. From the positioning by the referees, it's going to be a Lincoln High 1st down. And now Lincoln High is beginning to move through the air. They've got enough time, 1 minute and 49 seconds to go. Ball squarely in the center of the field, just past the 45-yard line in East High territory. East High comes up in a 6-man front. 4 down linemen and a 2 end. Hand off to Hopper. And Hopper turns it upfield on a wingback reverse for about 3 yards. 1:29 to go. The clock, of course, is running with the running play. Hopper coming out, Mole coming in. Ball's at the 42-yard line. 2nd down and 8. Let's see if Nichols elects to go to the air here. One thing about a pass, if you complete it, it usually gives you enough yardage for a good gain, and if you incomplete it, the clock stops. But this time they elect to go with Udofia, and Udofia is racked up. Good block on the play. Number 71 from Lincoln High, Randy Wymore, is flying on the play. He was trying to get a downfield block, but the Lincoln East player got him first. So Lincoln High is going to have to take a timeout now with 2 consecutive running plays. The clock is wound down to 52 seconds. 52 seconds as we go under a minute before halftime. 3rd down and 9. Lincoln High has 2 shots at it in this situation. They undoubtedly would go for it on 4th down. After Lincoln High won the initial game of this series 54-0, Lincoln High came back to win in 68, 69, and 70. So East High lost the first 4 games of this series, but then East High came back starting in 1971 to win the next 5 contests. 50-0, 28-7, 14-0, 34-7, also 34-18. Lincoln High won, I mentioned, at 76, and East High's won the last 2 years. So there you see it. One of the shorter rivalries with Lincoln High and Lincoln East. Of course, Lincoln High being around for a long time, the oldest school in the capital city. Lincoln East just coming about in 67. Some of these rivalries date really far back. The Fremont rivalry with Lincoln High goes back to 1922. And the Beatrice rivalry goes back to 1895. How do you like that? 3rd down and 9. Nichols going deep. He's got a man out there. That's Fiedler, complete at the 10, the 5-yard line. And the Miracle Kids, the Lynx of Lincoln High, come back. It'll be a 1st down and goal to go on the 6-yard line. 1st and goal from the 6. 42 seconds to go. That play didn't take very long. There was a fine example of a good pass from Nichols combining with a talented receiver in Fiedler. Fiedler got open, the pass on the money. Fiedler came up with it. 1st and goal from the 6. Lincoln High with the I formation. They don't go with Udofia. Nichols trying to keep it himself. He's going to have to scramble to get out of bounds, and he slips to the turf at the 4-yard line. That play took up 12 seconds thus far, and the clock is running. And now Lincoln High has to take a timeout with 27 seconds to go. As you see it, the ball is on the near side of the field. So that means, of course, the wide side of the field is to the far side. If Lincoln High elects to go with a sweep, it probably would go to the far side. Receivers don't have too much room to work on the near side. If Nichols elects to go to a pass on the near side, the receiver doesn't have much room to shake the defender. But if it goes on the far side, there's plenty of room way out there in the corner of the end zone going diagonally across the field. 2nd down and 4, and there you see an instance when the East High coach comes out. That, of course, is not Lee Zenning, but one of his assistants. Probably the defensive coordinator for Lincoln East, Lynn Young. Other defensive coaches are Bob Ice. The offensive coaches are John Henry, head sophomore coach Jim Neal, assistant sophomore Bill Keckley, Jim Varnum's the trainer. For Lincoln High School, Bob Starr, of course, the head coach, assisted by Harold Simpson, Tom Christie, Dave Gillespie, Ray Henning, and Tom Pappas. 2nd down and 4. Going right down to the wire at the end of the first half for Lincoln High School. Gaines, big guy over center. Nichols. 2nd goal from the 4. Nichols in the end zone. Oh, it was complete, but he dropped the ball. He had the ball and he dropped it in the corner of the end zone. How do you like that? They went to the tight end on the near side on a down and out right at the corner of the end zone. Galois had his hands on the ball. He was tucking the ball away when the ball popped loose. He didn't really get hit. Just in the process of putting the ball away and a little shove from a defender, and the ball came loose. 3rd down and 4 for Lincoln High. The ball is located on about the 3-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and goal from the 3. I formation. Mulligan and Udofia in the backfield. Nichols. Ball slips out of his hands. That was a plain and simple slip. And look at Nichols pleading his case with the referee. He's saying, I was back to pass and the ball slipped loose. It was a forward pass. And the ref agrees with him on this occasion, so it's 4th down. And let's see, Lincoln High's gone backwards here. We'll have to figure this up. 4th down and 12. It's 4th and goal from the 12. There we go. 13 seconds to go. The original line of scrimmage was the 7-yard line, thus causing the goal line situation from the 7. They moved back on the last play, lost 5 yards. Lost more than 5 yards on the last play. Lincoln High coach on the field. The Coach Bob Starr up in the press box. Harold Simpson out on the field, I believe. It might be Dave Gillespie. On a cool night at Seacrest Field. A lot of the students here tonight. Of course, it was a holiday for the students today around the capital city. So that was Dave Gillespie, the former number 28 running back for Nebraska out of California, injured during his career a lot. The 3rd string often played the role of Craig Johnson. Here we go. Nichols on the far side. He's looking for a man. Incomplete over the head of Fiedler. 4th down and 12. The pass went over the head. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Lincoln East High School. That play took 7 seconds, so there's 6 seconds to go before halftime. Well, Lincoln High got close. Good offensive drive all the way down the field. Some good passing by Nichols, some good receiving by Fiedler and Galois, but Galois dropped the pass in the corner of the end zone. It was a good effort by Galois. He just couldn't come up with it, and Nichols valiantly trying to find a receiver as Zart goes down to the turf to end the first half. And there you have it, after 1 half of play between the number 1 ranked Lincoln East Spartans and the Lincoln High Lynx. The score, Lincoln East 16, Lincoln High nothing. Don't go away. We'll be back with halftime festivities from Seacrest Field after this. Two touchdowns and a safety make it 16-0 Lincoln East over Lincoln High School at halftime. Let's run down some of the stats for Lincoln East High School. McCashlin, 6 carries for 8 yards. Cole, 5 carries for 81 yards. Leading ball carrier in the game thus far, Cole with 81 yards. Zart, 5 carries, 21 yards, for a grand total of 110 yards on 16 carries for Lincoln East. For Lincoln High School, Hopper has 2 carries for 1 yard. Mulligan has yet to carry the ball. Nichols tucked it away 7 times for 14 yards, 2 yards per carry. Harrison has carried the ball twice for 3 yards. Udofia, after not starting the game in the backfield, came back on, carried it 8 times for 22 yards for a grand total of 40 yards. Only 40 yards on the ground for Lincoln High School. These stats unofficial, of course, but coming from our statistician Ron Huber, and we put a lot of faith in Ron Huber's stats. 19 carries for 40 yards for East High, 16 carries for 110 yards. Okay, let's go down to the field for an interview with Rich Clausen. Rich, and I understand you got a special guest down there.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. I'm Rich Clausen down here on the field. Thanks, Joe. A super ball game tonight. Good defensive ball game with the exception of a safety and a long play by Lincoln East. A well-played ball game by both teams. A good defensive stand by Lincoln East there in the last minute, waning seconds of the last quarter. 16-0 at Lincoln East on a cold November 2 here at Seacrest Field. I'm with Jim Lucky. Jim is an injured defensive tackle, number 74 for the Lincoln East Spartans. And, Jim, I know it's got to be tough watching your teammates out here on the field, but a lot of times when you have to rest an injury, you just kind of have to sit out a game or two.
Yeah, that's right. But, I mean, we have a lot of enthusiasm coming into this game. We're not going to sit down just because we have a title, but we're going to go at it, and I'm going to cheer them on all I can.
That's really good. I know it's really hard for Lincoln East. They know that they're already in the playoffs, and they don't have to win this game in the playoffs. How was the team coming into this game? What was their emotional status?
Oh, they're really high on this game. We're going to come in with a lot of pride and play as hard as we can. We figure any game's important to us, so, I mean, we're going to go out there and stick it to them.
As Coach Lee Zennick said in pregame, it's awful important to end the season on a high note instead of a low note, especially going into the playoffs. What's the Lincoln East outlook going into the playoffs, Jim?
It's really good. I think we have the best team. Like Lee Zennick said, we have the best fit team coming in this year that he's had in a while. I think they're really up for the playoffs. Myself, I hope I get to play a lot, you know, but that's the way it goes. They're going to go in and they're going to give it their best.
Jim, from what I've been hearing from the Lincoln East coaches, they're expecting a lot of you this year, and they should have a pretty good team next year because the reserve team won the city championship. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's right. We took the city championship. We had a 6-2 record, but we played a lot of hard games and lost a few. We had like I said, a 6-2. We came back and beat Lincoln High the last game. Maybe we'll do it tonight again.
How is it, Jim, playing with superstaters like Todd Zard and Doug Laird and John Irwin and Scott Schottger and Mike McCashlin? So many good guys like that on a team. It's got to be a real inspiration to you younger guys. So when you get in there next year to play, that it's just going to be, you know, almost like you've been watching these guys this year and they're just setting a heck of an example for you.
It really is. It's a really good inspiration. They give you a lot of encouragement and tell you what you're doing wrong. I mean, it's really good to work with them. It's going to really help in the next years.
You're taking stats tonight, I see. How's that job going along?
It's a little cold, but it's all right. I did it last week, too. So,
well, Jim, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me tonight. Joe, we're going to go back up to you in the warm booth. Jim and I are both cold down here. Back to you, Joe Lococo.
Okay, thank you, Rich. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to analyze the passing statistics along with the other statistics from the first half when we continue here on Cablevision TV 9. We're back at Seacrest Field with football action, but I tell you, if you get a chance, take a look at international volleyball, the way it was when the United States Olympic team took on the Korean national team. That is the United States Olympic volleyball team that will represent the United States in the Olympics in Moscow in 1980. They were on a swing throughout the United States against the Korean team, and when they played in Lincoln, it was something to see. I know a lot of us like to play volleyball in the backyard, you know, where you slow down every once in a while and take a breather and stall and all that, but this game is really technical. You've never seen volleyball like international volleyball. Those are on 2 times. You'll get a chance to see them if you can catch one of them. Saturday at 12:30 p.m. and then Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you can get a chance, take a look at international volleyball. That is really something to see. It's exciting. I mean, exciting volleyball action. It's an exciting sport. I was amazed at how exciting a game it really is. First down for East High. Well, let's run down the passing stats first. First of all, for East High School, Zart 5 out of 9 for the first half, 60 yards, no interceptions, an important stat there. No interceptions, 5 out of 9 for 60 yards. For Lincoln High School, 5 out of 12. Lincoln High, Nichols through the air, 5 out of 12, 95 yards. So actually in the first half, Nichols has outpassed Todd Zart, the leading passer in the state of Nebraska, 95 to 60 in passing yards. In first downs, Lincoln East has 6. Lincoln High School has 6 also. Penalties, East High is yet to be penalized. Lincoln High School has 1. That was a 5-yard motion penalty. Punting, Lincoln High has punted the ball 4 times, 130 yards total. That's 36.5 yards average. And for Lincoln East High School, they've punted 3 times for 118 yards. Corrected average on Lincoln High School, 32 yards per punt average, 39 yards for Lincoln East High School. So in the first half, the way it looks, 135 yards total yards for Lincoln High School. East High with 170. So East High has gained 35 more yards. When you look at the statistics, total yards anyway, you can see that the game is a little bit closer than the score indicates. On the scoreboard, it says 16-0, East High over Lincoln High. Those scores, of course, came in the first quarter on a 61-yard touchdown run by Cole. The point after attempt by Eubanks was good. That came with 10 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Made the score with the PAT 7-0 Lincoln East. And then a safety occurred. That came with 6 minutes and 36 seconds in the second quarter. Lincoln High was pinned deep in their own territory after a punt. They ran one play, very little yardage. On the next play, the back fumbled, tried to pick up the ball. He fumbled it again. It was recovered in the end zone by a Lincoln High player. East High jumped on top of him. Of course, it's a safety. 2 points. That made it 9-0. That was in the second quarter, 6:36 to go. And then the final touchdown came on a 13-yard run by Zart. Kept himself going around left hand, cut back towards the middle. The PAT by Eubanks was good. That was with 3:43 to go in the second quarter. And that made the score as it currently stands, 16-0, East High over Lincoln High. And Rich Clausen's back in the booth. And, Rich, it's a little cool down there.
Joe, it's awful cold, but I'll tell you what, Lynn Young was awful hot for the Lincoln East Spartans. He's their defensive coordinator, and on that last drive that Lincoln High had, he was really pepping up his kids and congratulating every one of them as they came off the field, as they made a heck of a stand, with Lincoln High having 4 plays to go into the end zone on that last quarter drive. And Joe, you take away the long run and you take away the 2 points, and it's just an awful close ball game. Of course you can't, but when you look at the way the game has been played, Lincoln East has had one sustained drive, really. The first drive was 3 plays, as you mentioned before, and then the long touchdown run, and then they've just had one sustained drive for a score. And Lincoln High, thus far, though, has just been really doing a good job of keeping them out of the airways during the early part of the game. Lincoln East started to connect after that, but they've cut down the ground game, and I think they're doing a pretty good job for the #1 team in the state.
There's a cheerleader convention in the capital city tonight. There you see it, under the moon at Seacrest Field. We're glad to have you along. At halftime, the band has cleared off. It's too cold. They wanted to get off the field. Fine performance by the bands all year long. A lot of times we don't get a chance to talk enough about the various band directors and the band leaders and the band members around the capital city, but they do add so much to the festivities of high school football. A lot of the parents come out and sit in this kind of weather just to see some of the band members play. A lot of times we forget about the bands, but they do provide a lot of enjoyment, a lot of entertainment, and we just like to say thank you to all the bands who have participated at halftime. I know we get enjoyment from watching the bands here at Seacrest Field. Season's coming to an end. Last week of the regular season, if you try to define the playoff possibilities, you get a migraine headache. There's just too many possibilities that could occur. There's 3 teams in the capital city. We'll run down these 3 teams that have a chance. Of course, East High has qualified for the playoffs. If they win this game, of course, they'll go as the District 1 champion, or the district champion, rather, over Lincoln Southeast. East High then would be in the playoffs. Lincoln Southeast tonight is at Grand Island. They're playing Coach Ken Fisher's crew, and Ken Fisher's crew at home is a tough team. We have no report yet of that game, but it should be a real head knocker. Southeast, of course, will qualify for the playoffs with a victory. And most likely, we don't know the results of that game, of course, but Southeast could qualify for the playoffs, very likely, with a loss. It would take like 5 or 6 Omaha teams to win, with no losses in there, for Southeast not to qualify, even if they lose tonight's game. Creighton Prep, the #1 team for most of the season, probably, of course, will be in the playoffs, along with Omaha Westside, Omaha Burke, Lincoln East, Southeast, probably Grand Island, and then another team, most likely Fremont, possibly one other outsider getting in. But that's the way it looks like for Class A. Then in Class B, we talked earlier about the Lincoln Pius 10 Thunderbolts. As you see the Lincoln cheerleaders there. Lincoln Pius 10, the coach Vince Aldridge, finished the year at 4-2-1. They lost to Lexington. They lost to Dodge City, Kansas. And it was a good year for Lincoln Pius 10. We tried to get a hold of Coach Vince Aldridge throughout the year to get him to come on, but he's such a busy man. He's the athletic director along with being the head coach. So Pius has a chance to qualify, but Norris has to beat Crete. And a lot of things can happen in Class B, too numerous to mention right now. We're going to take a break and settle things here. When we come back, it'll be time for second half kickoff for another half of action at Seacrest Field in high school football. We're glad to have you along. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rich Clausen, calling the play-by-play right now. Alongside me, Joe Lococo, and our stat man, Ron Huber, doing an excellent job up here, keeping us updated on all the stats. Just had a score come in from Grand Island, a first quarter score. Lincoln Southeast is leading the Grand Island Islanders under Coach Ken Fisher, 6-0, and that's at the end of the first quarter. So that's a very important game in Grand Island, Joe. And as you were mentioning before, a lot of important games across the state tonight to determine who is going to get into the playoffs. Set right now to kick off. Lincoln East will be kicking off, and Lincoln High will be returning the kickoff, hopefully from the Lincoln East Spartans. Lincoln East right now, if you just joined us, scored on a 61-yard run and a 2-point safety and a 13-yard run by Mr. Todd Zart. They lead 16-0 at the end of the half.
You talked about the playoffs, Rich. I was talking to Larry Faust, who was my guest a couple weeks ago on Closer Look. He was telling me that he went down to a game. It was a Class D game. I believe Beamer and Snyder, I believe that game. But anyway, they saved him a spot because he called down there and he said he was coming. He came flying down there. He had another assignment earlier in the day, and he came flying down there, and they ran him right into his parking spot, and he jumped out, and they had a seat saved for him. And he said at those Class D games, they just circle the field, of course. I know a lot of fans have been to those kind of games where you just circle the field. When something good happens, you honk your horn, you go crazy, and that's really high school football. We see it on the Class A level here, but don't be misled. There's all kinds of football action going on, and it's really a hype time with the playoffs.
The kickoff by Lincoln East, fumbled by Lincoln High at about the 11-yard line, running it back. Looks like Harrison. Boy, he's really tearing up the yard. He's going across midfield, and he's going to be tackled at the Lincoln East 45-yard line. An excellent run there by number 20 for the Lincoln High Lynx. That's Mr. Harrison doing a super job there of returning the kickoff. Joe, this is going to be a big incentive right now for Lincoln High. Hopefully they can get something on the board. Coach Starr is upstairs calling the shots, and maybe they can get something going here.
Yeah, I believe that was Ron Mull, number 20. 146-pound senior carrying the ball. A good run back by Mull.
Mr. Nichols brings them up to the line. Eudofia dotting the I. The handoff to the fullback. Stops right short of the 44-yard line of Lincoln East. In there, Mr. John Irwin and Doug Laird and company stopping the ball carrier for Lincoln High. Place the ball at the 44-yard line. 2nd down and 9 to go for Lincoln High.
First carry of the night for Craig Mulligan.
Mr. Nichols bringing him up. Got the wide receiver on the right side, slot right side. I formation, back to pass, Mr. Nichols. Ball's going up in the air and deflected. Deflected by a Lincoln East defender. And Joe, there were 3 Lincoln East defenders around that ball and only 1 Lincoln High receiver, big tight end there for Lincoln High. But they couldn't get the ball to him quite in time. I think he was wide open at the start of the play. And then when the ball was thrown in the air, it was kind of a duck, and the Lincoln East defenders just surged on the ball carrier.
Injured player on the field for Lincoln East High School. Try and get his number. It's in the secondary. Can't quite see it on this picture. It's just to the left of our screen right now.
Trainer Jim Varner out there working on Mike McCashlin. Looks like Mike might need some tape on his wrist or some fingers. A good crowd here tonight for considering how cold it is. A good crowd by both teams.
There's Harrelson coming off the game, the injured player, Jeff Harrelson.
Number 33 going back in for Lincoln East. That's number 33, Jim Baker. Harrelson coming off the field. The defensive coordinator right now for the Lincoln East Spartans, Lynn Young really pumping up his kids, hoping to stop him here on 3rd and 9. Nichols brings him up to the line, slot right. Looks like a pass over the middle, and he's decked behind the line of scrimmage. Number 88 for the Lincoln East Spartans, Bob Gustafson on the stop. A surge of Lincoln East players, Joe, on that play. Nichols just couldn't get the ball off.
Good rush by Lincoln East High School. They knew what was coming on. Harrelson walking along the sideline. He doesn't seem to be injured too bad. He shook it off. He is sitting down on the bench right now.
Scott Schottger and Rich Teal back, expecting the Lincoln High punt. They've had a really pretty good punch tonight. Snap from center, and there's the punt. A low punt hits at about the 25-yard line. Looks like it's going to stop right there. So Lincoln East is going to take over at their own 25-yard line. Todd Zart and company coming out on the field. Kevin Cole and Mike McCashin will be the running backs. At the flanker, number 80, Rich Teal. At the split end, number 42, Scott Schottger. The tackles, Omnivant and Plunkett. And the guards, Provorst and Kelly. The center is number 54, Dan Weed. And the tight ends, big number 88, Bob Gustafson. Start brings him up to the line. Pro backfield, hands off to McCashlin. McCashlin over the 30-yard line, up to the 35. Keeps his feet over to the 40, the 45, the 50, and down to the Lincoln High 45-yard line. I tell you, Joe, he got about those last 20 yards on by himself. Some great blocking by the Lincoln East. Sprung him into the Lincoln High defensive backfield, but he got those last 20 yards by himself.
Kept his feet. Good balance by McCashlin. His dad's clapping over that one.
Dan Weed coming over the ball for the Lincoln East Spartans. Todd Zart calling the signals. Double wide receivers. Zart back to pass. He's looking for number 80. That's Rich Teal. He's got it at the 5 and touchdown, Lincoln East. Oh, Joe, what a threat on the needle that was. Todd Zart really happy connecting with number 80. Rich Teal, the flanker for the Lincoln East Spartans. And that's just an excellent pass by Todd Zart, and that's one of the things right there that we've been hearing about Todd Zart all year long. He's just an excellent drop-back passer.
45-yard completion. The defender slipped down as he went to cover him. East High on the board again.
Kurt Eubanks coming in to try the extra point. Standing right now at 9:45 left in the third quarter. Lincoln East 22 and Lincoln High nothing. From the hold of Jeff Hendricks. Eubanks. The extra point is no good, so they're going to come back and they're going to kick it off to the Lincoln High defenders. Now, right now, Joe, I feel that Lincoln High has to get something started. If they don't get something on this possession right here, it might become a rout.
There you see a 22 to zip over Lincoln High. Lincoln High's had the effort tonight. They've been there. They've been close.
The big play playing such a very important part in tonight's game. The long run by McCashlin, the long run by Cole. 2 extremely long passes to Rich Teal and Scott Schottger. The big play has been really working well for Lincoln East tonight.
6 out of 10 for 105 yards passing through the air for Todd Zart.
Number 20 for Lincoln High, Ron Moll back to receive the kick from number 70, Tom Hatton for the Lincoln East Spartans. Hull takes it at his 10-yard line. Up to the 15, the 20, over to about the 27, 28-yard line. And Dale Nichols will bring him out, and they're going to try and get something started right here. Got a player down on the field momentarily. He's back up.
Can't see his number. There it is, number 69, I believe, for Lincoln East High School. That's Kurt Buthera.
So Dale Nichols brings him up to the line. He's got a pro right formation. I'm sorry. Drops back to pass. He's got the tight end over the middle and overthrows him and almost intercepted there by number 22 for the Lincoln East Spartans. That's Jeff Harrelson. Jeff had super plays there in the last of the first half. When Lincoln High was driving and almost making a scoring attempt, he was playing some good defense in the defensive backfield, and he made the play on that one, almost intercepted. Lincoln High sending in the play from Coach Bob Starr up in the press box. Dale Nichols brings him up to the line. Snap from center, play action pass. He's looking for the wide receiver. And boy, he got sacked. And he got sacked by number 90, Doug Laird for the Lincoln East Spartans. And Doug smelled that play out just beautifully. He didn't go for the play action pass and just went right in and got Mr. Nichols.
East High defense swarming. 3 tacklers around the ball. Brings up 3rd and 16.
A tough play right here, Joe. You might see a draw play by Coach Bob Starr. I don't know. The passing really hasn't been going very well for him tonight. You might see some type of reverse or something, too. They've got to pull out all plugs right now. Nichols brings him up to the line. I left formation. The pitch to Udofia. Udofia around right end. Almost up to the original line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up about a 4th and about 12 yards, 11, 12 yards for the Lincoln High Lynx. They're going to be in punt formation as Rich Teal and Scott Schottger go back for the Lincoln East Spartans.
Steve Miller and company coming in for Lincoln East punting team. Lincoln High having their troubles moving the ball. Bauer counting the players for Lincoln High School.
Defensive coordinator for Lincoln East, Lynn Young, congratulating all of his defensive unit players. As Lincoln High was a man short, they've got one in there now. Ready to receive the Lincoln High punt, Scott Schottger and Rich Teal. Back at about their own 42, 43-yard line. The punt from Lincoln High, a high punt going back to about the 40-yard line, right by the the far sideline. Scott Schottger, oh, we got tripped up over by the Lincoln High bench area, and it looks like we might have a face mask call.
He got clotheslined no matter what it is, if it's a face mask or not, but he went down. The tackle was right around the neck, and there you see it, face mask against Lincoln High School. Tack on 15 more yards to Schottger's total.
A big block there, Joe, by number 63, Steve Strassheim, one of the many Strassheim brothers that have played for this Lincoln East Ball Club. He almost sprung Schottger on that one. So they're going to go, 15 yards on this one. A big play for Lincoln East and a real hard break for Lincoln High. Boy, they've just been really taking it in this third quarter. 7:38 left to go in the game, in the third quarter, I'm sorry. If you just joined us, I'm Rich Clausen, alongside me, Joe Lococo. 22-0 the score in the third quarter. Lincoln East ahead. Todd Zart bringing him up to the line. Back to pass. Had Cole out in the flat, could not hit him. Had Rich Teal coming over the middle, I thought that he might go to Teal, but he was looking for Cole. That'll go as incomplete, and we'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Zard 6 out of 11 for 105 yards. Now coming off the game with a slight limp is Dennis Plucknett, a 200-pound senior tackle for Lincoln East.
And going in, number 72, my main man, Merlin Borgiali. Merlin, whose father is the superintendent at the Sports Center, Orville Borgiali, for the University of Nebraska. Todd Zart bringing him up to the line. Cole and McCaslin in the backfield. Zart with the draw up to Cole. Cole's at the 20-yard line. He's going to go outside. He's broken one tackle, breaks another, and finally brought down at about the 24-yard line of Lincoln High. Super run by Kevin Cole. So that's going to bring up a 1st down at the 24-yard line for the Lincoln East Spartans. Coming in for the Lincoln East Spartans, number 84, wide receiver Chip Wyback.
It's Wiebeck, Chip Wiebeck. I know Brady wants to make sure that one comes out right.
We've got Scott Schottger over there. Oh, boy, at the 11-yard line, and he's going to score. Boy, I tell you, Joe, the referee was right on the sideline that time, and Scott Schottger just tiptoed, tight-roped the sideline that time. An excellent play.
Once again, East High on the board as they add to their total, currently 28-0.
And there you see, Joe, why Lincoln East has Todd Zart at quarterback, the number 1 passer in the state, and Scott Schottger, the number 1 receiver in the state, adding to their touchdown and receiving and passing totals. Kurt Eubanks attempting the point-after attempt for the Lincoln East Spartans from a hole of number 10, Jeff Hendricks. The kick is up, and it's good. So with 7:04 left to go in the third quarter, Lincoln East has really blown this one wide open. It's 29-0. They've scored twice in about the past 3 minutes or so. Just an excellent job by the Lincoln East offensive line. And, Joe, I think we're seeing something here in the second half that we didn't see in the first half, was some good execution, some consistent play from the Lincoln East people.
29-0 East High ahead. As you mentioned, kicking off will be Hatton. He's had a lot of duty tonight kicking it off. East High coaching staff looking a little bit relaxed on the sideline. Meanwhile, for Lincoln High School coaching staff, minus Bob Starr, of course, who's up in the press box. But they look a little bit down. They have no reason to be down. This long second half, and they got a lot of pride on the line. They got to get on the scoreboard.
Back to receive another Tom Hatton kick is Mr. Mall. Takes it at about the 10-yard line up to the 23-yard line, and that's where Lincoln High will take over. And I'll tell you something, Joe, I still see Lincoln High sprinting onto the field, and that's always something good to see. When you know they haven't let down, at least on physically part. They might be down right now a little bit emotionally, but when you see a team run on the field and run up to the line of scrimmage, you know they're still wanting to win this game. Quarterback Dale Nichols will bring him up to the line. He's got an I formation, wide receiver and wingback to the right side. Goes on the sound. He's back to pass, chased by number 95 for the Lincoln East Spartans, and brought down on the left side by Mr. Doug Laird and company. A few words being exchanged by the Lincoln East and Lincoln High offensive line and defensive linemen there. Number 88, Bob Gustafson, trying to bring the Lincoln East defenders under control there.
Udofia, 26 yards on 9 carries for the night. Nichols, 10 carries for 5 yards. Mulligan, 1 carry for 1 yard. Leading ball carrier for Lincoln High School in the first half was Udofia with 22 yards. He's got 26 now.
So Nichols brings him up to the line. The pitch is back to the I-back, a new I-back in there right now, and he's brought down by the Lincoln East defenders. Joe, see if he can't figure out who that is. He gained about 2.5, well, make it 2 yards. We'll make it 3rd down and 8.
That was Tim Crickshank, a senior, 155, a back. Playing in his last high school game. I'm sure the coach will want to get most of the seniors in tonight, so they have something good to remember about their final high school game.
That's right, Joe. It is the last game for the Lincoln High seniors on this 1979 football season. Nichols bringing him up to the line. The handoff is to the fullback up the middle, and he's getting some tough yardage, and he's going to be close to a first down up by about the 32, 33-yard line. We'll see where the referee marks the ball.
Didn't quite get a chance to see that one, but there's some good blocking inside.
First down indicated by the umpire. Lincoln High is on the move. Quarterback Dale Nichols really doing an excellent job of mixing it up both inside and outside. Joe, something that worked for Lincoln High earlier in the game was the play-action pass when they could freeze the Lincoln East defensive backs and linebackers. They've been using that in the second half, but Lincoln East hasn't been going for the fake into the middle. Nichols brings them up to the line. Wide receiver out to the left side. Brought down behind the line is number 31, Tim Cruikshank. And that was a loss of about, 2 yards, we'll give it. 1.5, 2 yards. We'll get a 2nd down and 12 call from the referee. In other action tonight, of course, Norris playing an important game down in Crete. If Norris wins that game, Lincoln Pius X will be in the playoffs, according to our unofficial rankings and standings. Dale Nichols bringing the Lynx up to the line.
Some other things that have to happen for Pius to make it besides Norris's victory, but we'll get to those later.
Fake into the line. He's got the wide receiver right out there. That's number 21 for the Lynx, Ken Hopper. Ken, 135 pounds, and he really took on number 66 for Lincoln East. That's Dan Plugnett. Dan outweighs him by a few pounds, but he really put his head down, and that was a good play by him.
Talking about Norris and Crete, down in Crete tonight, I know Coach Dennis Poole has those guys fired up. They were boarding the bus when we went by a little bit early. The band was on the field practicing. But Norris has a chance to make the state playoffs, rightfully so. They've only lost 1 game on the year. That was the Nebraska City first game of the season. The only trouble with Norris's record is that the teams they've beat up on all year by scores of like 63-0 have been weak teams. They haven't won, so they're third division teams. They don't get as many points for that.
Nichols back to pass, being chased by the Lincoln East defenders, and he's brought down by number 88 for the Lincoln East Spartans. That's Bob Gustafson. I'm sorry, Joe, that's not number 88. That's number 85, Scott Nelson. Want to get that right. Scott's also a tight end, as well as Bob Gustafson. It looks like they're going to bring in the punting team right now, as we've got a 4th and 3 situation right at the Lincoln High 39-yard line. Another game tonight that has some importance to the high school standings and playoffs is Lincoln Southeast at Ken Fisher's Grand Island Islanders. The last score we had was 6-0, Lincoln Southeast leading at the end of the first quarter.
We're going to have a penalty, too much time against Lincoln High School. They had a little bit of trouble getting set up for their punt. They didn't get it off in time, 5 yards against the Lynx.
Something interesting right here, we might see Lincoln East go for the block instead of the return. They're Lincoln High deep back in their territory at their own 34-yard line. Might see the block instead of the return. A cold night here at Seacrest Field. If you just joined us, the score 29-0 in favor of Lincoln East. 3:27 left to go in the third quarter. The punt by Lincoln High. It's a high kick off the side of the foot of the punter. Hits at about the 49-yard line. Lincoln East going to let it roll. Lincoln High watches it roll to the 44-yard line of Lincoln East. Lincoln East coming out onto the field. See a new quarterback in there, Joe. That's number 13 for the East High Spartans. That's Mark Peterson. Of course, they want to save Todd Zard. No sense in getting him injured. Also coming out playing a fine game right now, Rich Teal, Scott Schottker, Bob Gustafson. All three playing excellent games tonight for the Lincoln East Spartans. So the new quarterback in the game, Mark Peterson, will try and pick up the rest of the backfield for you as we go along. The handoff is to the fullback. And he gets yardage up to about the 47, 48-yard line.
Thought we might see the reserves with only 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. The fourth quarter, the issue obviously settled at 29-0. However, Lincoln High has some pride on the line, and they're going to try and get on that board in the fourth quarter.
Some of the people in there right now at halfback, Jeff Harrelson, number 22, Tom Hatton at a guard spot, number 70, and Merlin Borgiali, number 72, at another tackle spot. Split to the wide side, Chip Wieback. Wieback, I'm sorry, Joe. The handoff is to number 22, Harrelson. He breaks it to the outside and tight-roping the sidelines, and he's going to go down to the Lincoln High 46-yard line. That's going to be close to a first down for the Lincoln East Spartans. A lot of new people in there. Number 63, Steve Strassheim for the Lincoln East Spartans. Number 82 is also in there, Kevin Hubble as a wide receiver. Mr. Harrelson, and the new quarterback, number 13 for the Lincoln East Spartans, Mark Peterson.
A lot of the East High players wearing the capes on the sideline, trying to stay warm. They'll have another game in this season. It'll be a 10-game season at least for Lincoln East High School. They'd like to have it be about a 12-game season. That would, of course, mean, with a victory in that 12th game, a state championship for Lincoln East High School.
Well, our advantage on this play, Joe, is a little hindered as we can see the Lincoln East players in front. Looks like they're short. Referee indicates by about half of the length of the football. So they're going to bring it back, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 1 for the Lincoln East Spartans. A cold, cold night here at Seacrest Field. A good night for football, though. Both hard hitting by both teams. So Mark Peterson brings them up to the line. Lincoln and East Spartans running up to the line. Also in there, number 80, Rich Teal.
Got 84 on the near side. There's Chip Wieback, a 148-pound senior, but Peterson's taking it himself.
Mark Peterson right up the middle. Excellent play by the Lincoln East interior line. First down indicated by the referee. And they move the stakes. The ball is on the Lincoln High 44-yard line.
I'll tell you, there's another group we don't get a chance to talk about much. The referees throughout the year. We've had fine referees. I don't think of course, we're in no position to question any calls, but referees have done a fine job. You know, they get out here in their groups, and it takes a lot of teamwork to form a refereeing crew, and they've done fine jobs.
Number 22 with the ball, that's Jeff Harrelson. Jeff upended by number 73. That's Rob DeBoos. Rob doing an excellent job for Lincoln High. There's the score, 29-0. A minute 35 left in the third quarter. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 for the Lincoln East Spartans. Another man in there who just went in is number 55. That's Steve Miller, Steve the center. He'll come over the ball for the Lincoln East Spartans. As Mark Peterson barks out the signals, he's got double wide receivers. Looks like a passing situation for the Lincoln East Spartans. He's got a play-action pass. Hits the wide receiver. No, the referee says. Pass is incomplete. A lot of pressure there on Peterson, Joe, on that play. Lucky he got the ball off.
In the center of your picture, Lee Zinnick, the head coach. Just going out of your picture was John Gingery, a student teacher at Lincoln East High School. Tom Ramsbottom, another student teacher at Lincoln East High School. Lee Zinnick has him on his staff, kind of like graduate assistants, to help out with the educational process of learning how to become a football player at Lincoln East.
Peterson brings him up to the line. Lincoln High shifting on defense. Definite passing situation for the Spartans as Peterson rolls right. Oh, it's intercepted by a Lincoln High defender.
Got one man to beat.
50-yard line. He's got one man to beat. The speed of that linebacker, and that's a touchdown for Lincoln High. No flags on the field. We'll try and pick up who that is.
Around 62 yards, I believe, unofficially.
Boy, that's an excellent play. Number 92 there for the Lincoln High defenders. See if we can't find that on here. While our statistician is trying to find that, an excellent run there by the linebacker and defensive back for the Lincoln High Lynx, and they're on the board. Looks like they might try for two. The score with 59 seconds left in the third quarter, Lincoln East 29 and Lincoln High 6. Still trying to find out who made that interception for the touchdown. Dale Nichols in to hold for the extra point. Or will it be an extra point? We'll see if they go for two or one.
Undoubtedly his greatest moment in high school football, and we can't even get his name.
We're going to try our darndest, Joe. We'll try and get his name on here in just a second. Our statistician, Ron Huber, trying frantically to get the man's name. Number 70 coming in for the Lincoln East Spartans, Tom Hatton. Tom doing the kickoff duties for the Lincoln East Spartans. Comes in a linebacker spot. So they're going for the 1 point. In to kick number 9, Todd Fiedler. Out of a Ray Nichols hold. Number 91 kicks it right through.
Bauer.
So the score with 59 seconds to go in the third quarter. Lincoln East 29 and Lincoln High on the scoreboard now is 7.
Took the defense to get the Lynx on the board, but they're on the board nevertheless. 29-7. Under a minute to go in the third quarter.
Back to receive the kickoff from Lincoln High, number 22, Jeff Harrelson, and number 33, Kevin Cole. Right now, Lee Zenik is telling his kids there's a whole quarter left to play here, and that play has really put some life and some spark back into Lincoln High, and it might not be the route that we think it is, because I've seen a lot of teams, Joe, come back with more and even less than a quarter to go. 22 points is a lot of points to make up, but it can be done. Anticipating the kick from Lincoln High. Kevin Cole taking it at his 20-yard line. He's up to the 30, 33-yard line. Kevin Cole bringing back the Lincoln High kickoff. Tackled there by number 82 for the Lincoln High Lynx. It's James Bade.
Football player of the future, huh?
That's right. He's a 165-pound senior. First down and 10 for Lincoln East at their own 33-yard line. Lincoln High lining up for the ball. 41 seconds left to go in the third quarter. If you're along with us right now, the score 29-7 in favor of Lincoln East over Lincoln High. Peterson brings them up to the line, hands off to number 20. That's Ted Arkfeld. Ted, a running back at 145-pound senior. Coach Lee Zenik letting a lot of the seniors see some action here tonight, and that's always good to see.
Arkfeld, a popular name around Lincoln athletic circles, mostly for baseball achievements. There's Chuck Arkfield, Bob Arkfield, Arkfield Park out at Air Park.
Winding down in the last seconds. Looks like they might not get this one off.
Not going to go. The clock ran out.
Boy, some excellent football. Lincoln High getting back into the game. Some excellent play by both teams in the third quarter. Coming back with us in the second quarter. Stay with us. A cold game here at Lincoln East and Lincoln High at Seacrest Field as they switch ends of the field. The score 29-7. Lincoln East over Lincoln High. We'll be right back. Is back for action right now. Lincoln East with a dive play up the middle, gaining about 2 yards. The new quarterback in there is number 13, Mark Peterson. Number 20, Ted Arkfield in there at one running back spot. The other running back, number 22, Jeff Harrelson. Lincoln East on the attack right now as Mark Peterson brings them up. Kevin Hubble and Chip Wiebeck are the wide receivers. The tight end, number 90, Doug Laird. Peterson brings them up to the line. Hands off to number 20 to Ted Arkfield. Ted gets about 2 yards or so. Could be close enough for maybe a measurement. The referee says no, that's a first down. Lincoln East for first downs tonight. A lot of them. They've been racking up a lot of yards tonight, both in the air and on the ground.
10 first downs for Lincoln East High School compared to 8 for Lincoln High School. Statistics fairly close considering the score.
Peterson hands off to number 25. That's Jerry Pitenpole. Jerry, the second string left halfback for the Lincoln East Spartans, and they're going to place the ball at about the 46-yard line of Lincoln East. Joe, something tonight that I've really enjoyed watching is the passing combination of Todd Zart, Scott Schottger, and Rich Teal. And they talk a lot about Scott Schottger, but Rich Teal does an excellent job there too.
All three receivers, Gustafson, Schottger, and Teal, complement the abilities of one Todd Zart.
Mark Peterson, boy, that's an excellent catch. And they say it's incomplete, and a lucky thing for that because the intended receiver, number 85, Scott Nelson, the tight end, had the ball momentarily, and if they had called it a completed pass, it would have been a fumble, and Lincoln High would have been on the ball.
Injured player on the field for Lincoln East High School, just to the left of our screen. We'll get a shot of him. There he is, down on his hands and knees.
Jim Varner, the trainer for Lincoln East, one of the only certified trainers in the state of Nebraska this year for Lincoln East, coming out to check over the injured player. Looks like number 72 for the Lincoln East Spartans. That's Merlin Borgiali. Merlin coming off the field under his own power.
Talk about your faithful fans on a cold night at Seacrest Field with stocking caps in place and scarves. Hey, there you go.
So Lincoln East right now, 29-7, 10:35 left to go in the game. Mark Peterson bringing them up, and oh boy, the right guard for Lincoln East, number 63, Steve Strassheim, knew that he jumped offsides and is really mad at himself. That's going to cost him 5 yards.
First penalty of the game for Lincoln East High School.
A tough time to have a penalty like that too, Joe. That's going to bring up, instead of 3rd and 9, now about 3rd and about 13.
Talk to the coaches and they'll say any time's a tough time for a penalty, especially when you're near the goal line.
That's right. So number 50 for the Lincoln East Spartans, Jeff Lade coming up to the ball. Center coming right over the ball. Mark Peterson right behind him. The backfield, Mark Peterson ready to pass. Looking for number 84. Looks like he's going to keep the ball. He's going to move upfield to about the 47-yard line. Referee throws a flag. Have no indication of what it is right now. Personal foul clipping. Blocking below the waist by Lincoln East. Incoming in for the Spartans, number 36, Tim Clare. Maybe on the punt team. We'll see if Lincoln High takes the penalty. Probably push them back a little further in the Lincoln East territory.
Looks like they're going to march it off against Lincoln East. We'll see if we can get the official signal from tonight's referee.
Going to push them way back to about the 32-yard line of Lincoln. No, I'm sorry, the 27-yard line of Lincoln East.
Personal foul clipping.
And boy, the Lincoln East coaches don't like to see that. Even though it's the second team, they don't like to see the mistakes. They've had 2 penalties, the offsides, and now the clipping by Lincoln East. So Mark Peterson, in what looks to be a passing situation, goes on the rollout. He's got number 84 out there, Chip Wieback, but instead he decides to keep the ball and is tripped up by number 72 for the Lincoln High Lynx. 73, I'm sorry, Ron DeBoos. And Ron has just had an excellent game tonight. We have a Lincoln High player down on the field.
Couple injuries as of late. We hope he's able to get up and leave the field with his own power. Trainers out there looking at him, plus a teammate. Try and get a number for you.
Joe talking with Jim Lucky down on the field at halftime. He's really psyched about next year for Lincoln East. He was telling me that the reserves had a real good season this year, as they did, winning the city championship here in the city of Lincoln. And he says that all the coaches think that they're going to have a pretty good team next year, despite the loss of men like Schottger and Zard and McCashlin, some excellent players there. Number 62 coming off the field, 52, I'm sorry, coming off the field, Gary Jorgens. Gary is a 165-pound senior center for the Lincoln High Lynx.
Needing assistance by the trainers. We won't speculate on the injury. We just hope he's okay.
So we're bringing down a 4th down and 20 situation. Back to receive the punt, number 21 for Lincoln High. That's Ken Hopper. expecting the punt from Lincoln East deep in their own territory. Lincoln High hopefully to get their hands on the ball and muster another drive. Lincoln East in punt formation.
Lincoln
They're going
High
out
coming
for the
with
all
the block.
block. Fair catch called by Ken Hopper at his own 41-yard line.
8-man rush for Lincoln High as they went after the punt.
You have to do that, Joe, when you're down this far, this late in the game.
For sure.
So Lincoln High coming back out on the field. A new quarterback in there for them. That's Bill Tesh. Bill played a lot for him earlier in the year. The coach Bob Starr wanting to go with Bill Tesh. Bill's a 160-pound senior, hopefully to make a nice showing here in the latter parts of the game. Barking out the signals, pitches the ball rather to number 31. That's Tim Cruikshank. Tim going around the left side, gets no yardage. In fact, might lose a yard. And there's a penalty flag. No, I guess that's a pad that was down on the field. So that's going to bring up a second down and about 11.5, maybe 12 yards for the Lincoln High Lynx. Lincoln High using the messenger system on their plays. Coach Bob Starr, the head coach for Lincoln High, unusually for a lot of head coaches to be up in the press box calling the plays.
Fiedler split out on the near side, Rich.
The handoff is on the inside to the Lincoln High fullback, Tesh, handing off the ball. It's number 33 for Lincoln High, Jim Baker. Jim, 180-pound junior. Coach Bob Starr and Coach Dave Gillespie, I was talking with them before the game, and they're expecting some good things from Jim Baker next year, as he's only a junior this year. He'll be coming back to play his senior year next year at Lincoln High. So we're looking at right now about a 3rd down and 9 situation for the Lynx. They call a timeout. Going to talk it over, looks like. Maybe an equipment problem. Looks like one of the Lincoln High players had an equipment problem, and the referee's calling in an official's timeout. So that Lincoln High will not waste a timeout. Coming in, then going back out, number 12, Bill Schwaliga for Lincoln High. Split to the far side, number 82, that's Jim Bays. And Lincoln High jumps offside, number 73, Ron DeBoos, a little anxious on that play.
Legal procedure against Lincoln High. Things just aren't coming off smooth.
Winding down the season, Joe, it seems like you're looking not forward to the end of the season, but it's kind of an emotional thing. Playing your last game, maybe a senior might have other things on his mind, and he's just trying to concentrate so hard that sometimes you do make the little mistakes. So Bill Tesh will bring him up with a split wide receiver to the left side. Wing back over to the left side. He barks out the signals. A mix-up in the backfield. The handoff to number 31, Tim Cruikshank. And boy, he was stuck there by number 79 for Lincoln East. 78, that's Gary Bohatti. Gary, a very good stick for Lincoln East Spartans, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 14. 8:10 left in the game. Score Lincoln East 29 and Lincoln High 7.
Don't forget Olympic volleyball coming up tomorrow and Sunday on Cablevision TV 9. You can see the United States Olympic volleyball team led by 6'5" Flo Hyman, along with Palmyra's own Julie Bullardson. All those players, along with Patty Dowdell. She didn't get a chance to play, though. She's injured. And the new captain, Miss Green, and a lot of other players. That's tomorrow at 12:30, and then Sunday at 4 o'clock. Olympic volleyball here on Cablevision TV 9.
Joe, the punt went down to the Lincoln East 31-yard line, but it's all going to be for naught, as there was roughing the kicker by Lincoln East. So I think they're going to bring it back to where the punt was, where the kicker was at the 30-yard line. A Lincoln East defender a little too anxious on that play.
I tell you, there's nothing like that Olympic volleyball. It's exciting. It's an exciting brand. If you get a chance, catch one of the 2 times, either 12:30 tomorrow or 4 o'clock Sunday. I mentioned Patty Dowdell was the captain, but due to injuries, Debbie Landreth took over as captain. But the main star, Nebraska star, the hometown girl, small-town girl made good. That's Julie Bullardson, and she saw a lot of action in that game and had a good night's work. So don't miss it, either Saturday at 12:30 or Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Joe, you had an opportunity to interview one of the committeemen for the International Volleyball Association, and from your interview, I gained a lot of knowledge on the international volleyball, and that is a very high tense and a high high-energy sport. It's just not the beach game that we see, you know, in movies as far as volleyball. And it's really high intense.
When you see one of those ace spikes by Flo Hyman, you want to be as far away from the side of the court as possible. 'Cause that thing, the ball is really traveling at a high rate of speed.
So Bill Tesh bringing him up to the line. Lincoln High trying to get a last drive started here. 7:42 left in the fourth quarter. The handoff is to number 31. I'm sorry, number 41. That's Brent Keller. Brent is a 165-pound junior. Coach Bob Starr playing a lot of juniors in there, too, here in the latter parts of the game. Wants to see what these guys can do for him next year. Incoming number 20 for the Lincoln High, that's Ron Mull. Ron, 146-pound senior.
A lot of testing going on for next year right now.
Some new people in there for Lincoln East also. Number 69, Kurt Bathuris is in there at a linebacker spot. Kurt's a 180-pound junior. So Bill Tesh is barking out the signals. There's a penalty marker down. He hits Mull coming over the middle. That pass play, Joe, actually maybe lost yardage, and it did. It did lose yardage instead of gain yardage. But there's a penalty on the far side. We'll see what the referee has to say. Looks like illegal procedure. Motion against Lincoln High. So number 20, Ron Mull, is coming off the field for the Lincoln High Lynx, as is number 66 for Lincoln East, Dan Plucknett, coming off of the defensive side. And Lynn Young is saying take the penalty. And Lee Zenick is showing the same expression. Take the penalty, push him back. They will take it from the 40-yard line, pushing Lincoln High all the way back to the Lincoln East 47-yard line, 46-yard line if you may. Number 74 coming in for Lincoln High, that's Scott Albertson. Scott, a big guy. He's a tackle, 190-pound junior. Also coming in, number 21, Ken Hopper, bringing in the play to quarterback number 10, Bill Tesh. Lincoln East going with a 53 defense. A lot of times switching to a weak Eagle defense where they line the linebackers right, there you see it, right in back of the tackle. They've got 6 defensive backs in there. And Bill Tesh is brought down by number 85 for the Lincoln East Spartans. That's Scott Nelson. Joe, something that was really unusual in that play is that Lincoln East got a super rush on the play, despite having 6, maybe 7 defensive backs in the passing situation for Lincoln High.
They shifted out of the 5-3 defense right at the last second. They went to a 4-man front. They still got the good pass rush. Lincoln High defenders Lincoln High pass protectors having their trouble keeping the Spartans away from their quarterback. Bill Tesh, you'll notice when he throws the ball, kind of the old Sonny Jurgensen style delivering it. He comes straight over with the arm. Doesn't really cock the ball at the ear and follow through like a lot of the experts say you're supposed to. But it works for Bill Tesh, and that's all that matters.
So they've got another motion penalty on Lincoln High, but it's been declined. And they're going to take it back all the way back to the Lincoln High into their own territory. I'm sorry, to the Lincoln East, back at the 47-yard line. 43-yard line, I'm sorry, of Lincoln High. Bill Tesh up to the line, barking out the signals. He drops back to pass, stumbles a little bit. He's looking down deep. He's got a man at the 50-yard line. It's number 82 for the Lynx, Jim Bade. And the upfield blocking of Lincoln High is really proving out to do something good as the receiver caught the ball, could make a couple moves and get upfield.
I believe that was Fiedler, number 82, Todd Fiedler, with the reception. Nevertheless, it was a good play. Tesh got him the ball.
So Bill Tesh bringing him up to the line. Mr. Fiedler, number 82, to the far side. Tesh back to pass, looking down deep. He's got his man over the middle.
Fiedler again.
Excellent catch by Fiedler. Joe, we saw a catch like that earlier in the first half over the middle.
That's a play that the pass interference call was declined on.
Exactly. Good play by Fiedler from Tesh to Fiedler, and that brings up a first down. And they're going to move the chains all the way down to about the 37-yard line of Lincoln East. So Lincoln High with a little momentum now, 5:16 left to go in the game. If you're joining us, the waning moments of this game, 29-7, Lincoln East over Lincoln High. Tesh brings them up to the line. Fiedler split right. Ball over on the slot back, blocking downfield. The pitch is to number 41. That's Brent Keller, 165-pound junior. And he's pushed out of bounds by the Lincoln East defenders at about the 34-yard line they're going to mark it. 33-yard line.
8 different people carried the ball for Lincoln High tonight.
That's kind of remnants of Alabama. They seem to use quite a few people when they play. They use probably 10 backs a game when they play down in the big tough Southeastern Conference, so they say. So in the I-back formation, Tesh brings them up to the line. Handoff there to Keller. Keller gets tough yardage over to close to the 30-yard line. They're going to mark it at about the 31. That's going to bring up about a 3rd down and about 5. A cold night here at Seacrest Field. The breath really flowing from everybody's mouth. A lot of people bundled up warm. Glad you tuned in. You in your home real warm. We're out here freezing to death, right, Joe?
Enjoying every minute of it.
That's
There's nothing like high school football. It's been a great year. We hope you've enjoyed the games on Cablevision. We've certainly enjoyed bringing them to you.
Bill Tesh bringing them up to the line. Lincoln East looking over the alignment of Lincoln High. Tesh back to pass. He's got a man out in the flat, and it's intercepted by Lincoln East.
Good interception. Holding the ball up, number 69.
For Lincoln East. That's Kurt Butheris.
Mr. Butheris was in the right place at the right time.
Kurt's a happy guy, getting congratulations from all of his teammates. And there you see the score with 4:13 left to go in the game. Lincoln East 29 and Lincoln High 7. 1st and 10, Lincoln East at their own 28-yard line.
It was 16-0 at halftime. East High has outscored them 13-7 in the second half. Lincoln High at least got on the board on a defensive play.
2 quick touchdowns by Lincoln East in the 3rd quarter, and the pitch out is to the halfback for Lincoln East, number 25. That's Jeff Pittenpool. I'm sorry. Couldn't find it there on the program. As Lincoln East moves it all the way up to the 35-yard line, that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 3 play. Lincoln High right now wanting to keep down the score. They don't want Lincoln East to score anymore. A little pride on the line here. Peterson bringing them up to line, and I'm going to give the play-by-play back to Mr. Joe Lococo. Joe?
Okay, Rich. 2nd down and 3 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Penalty against Lincoln East High School. Let them move 5 yards back as this game winds down. This game has been a good game for East High. The Lincoln High fans, of course, have to be disappointed. The performance, but you know, Lincoln East is such a strong team that other teams have had their trouble against East High School this year. Lincoln High has nothing to be ashamed of. Peterson up on 2nd down and 8. Split back, split in on the near side. The pitch outs to the trailing halfback. Swarm tackled by Lincoln High defenders. One thing about Lincoln High School, whether it be football, basketball, whatever, they will never give up. They do not give up. They'll stay in there till the very last tackle. They'll give it their best. They may be down in the scoreboard 29-7, but that doesn't matter. They're still going to give it their best. These younger guys are watching, learning. Now they get their chance to play. There's a couple of East High young students taking in tonight's activities. 3rd down and 8. Peterson stumbling, and now he's wrapped up by Lincoln High defense. Fine play by Scott Elbertson, a 190-pound junior. And East High is going to have to give up the ball. Some happy fans, huh? 3rd down and 8. 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go before the end of this ball game. Lincoln High will have right around 2 minutes to do something with the ball. Back deep to Small. He'll be on the far side. Hopper's on the near side. Back deep to kick. Lincoln East High School. The ball is placed at about the 24-yard line. Coming up, fair catch called by Mull. He takes it in at 49-yard line of Lincoln East High School. So Lincoln High finds itself 49 yards away from pay dirt with 1:51 to go. 29-7, a 22-point spread for Lincoln East. Well, the big game's down in Columbia tomorrow as far as college football goes. Husker freshmen, I guess, took it on the chin today. Tough game for Frank Solich and crew. 19-13, I believe, was the final score. Have to double check on that, but that's what the word around the press box was tonight. We didn't hear any reports on it. 4th down and 13 before the punt. but the freshmen have had a great season, a very rare loss in the freshman program in Nebraska. They don't lose very many games, freshman program, whether it be Guy Ingles coaching or way back with Johnny Melton and Jim Ross coaching. They just don't lose games, the freshmen. This is a rare loss. Missouri has been the one team throughout the years that has caused them trouble. Today was no exception down there in Columbia. First down and 10 for Lincoln High School. They've got to cover 49.5 yards in 1 minute and 51 seconds. Can they do it? Well, that's the suspense we have as this game winds down. Some of the Lincoln High fans leaving, but most of them are staying. They got their blankets out, getting their money's worth at Seacrest Field. We hope you feel you've gotten your money's worth this year watching Cablevision Sports. We've certainly enjoyed bringing these games to you as the season winds down as far as we're concerned, and now we've got a penalty flag. That's going to keep us here a couple of minutes longer. It was first down and 10. It's a delay of game. It'll be first down and 15 yards. Well, it's going to be an interesting time tomorrow morning when you get that paper. Find out what happened. Check up on your favorite school. Check up on schools you've heard about. Find out what's happening. And if you want to try and compute those NSAA things, well, good luck to you. I tried to do it for about 3-4 weeks in a row, and all I got was a headache and a shortage of pencils. So trying to figure out these playoffs is really something. I'm glad Rex Jones and Jim Riley and Condi Sargent and everybody else over at the NSAA has that job, because it is a tough job. Computer helps, though. But come Sunday morning, you'll know the pairing. The way they match up, they go 1, 3, 5, and 7 will be the home teams in the quarterfinals. 2, 4, 6, and 8, of course, the visiting teams. Then that changes for the semis and the final. But Lincoln has a very good chance, a very, very good chance of having 2 teams in the playoffs. That means there will be a playoff game. Now, of course, NSAA rules prevent any live broadcast of playoff games. So come on out to Seacrest Field if they have one. If there's a playoff game here in Lincoln, a Lincoln team's involved, get the family together. Come on out. I was talking to Al Cabot before the game. He's a man who's been around Seacrest Field a long, long time, and he said he doesn't believe they've ever had a sellout crowd of over 12,000. He can remember a couple of crowds around 10,000, but each side of this field at Seacrest Field holds 5,000, and the bleachers holds around 2,000, so you can fit around 12,000 people here. We'd like to see it for a playoff game, especially if east and southeast, maybe against an Omaha school. That'd be a great time. Pass is incomplete on first down and 15. Minute 42 to go. You know, if you have any responses concerning our coverage of football here on Cablevision, we'd greatly like to hear about it. So send in those cards and letters. Tell us how you like it or what you'd like to see improved on it. Here, Program Director, Cablevision in Lincoln, Nebraska. Post Office Box 80019, Lincoln, Nebraska. That's Cablevision Program Director. Flood him with cards and letters. We'll find out how you feel about Cablevision's coverage of high school football. Second down and 15. Tesh back to pass, rolling out. He's in trouble. Trying to get to the far sideline. Goes out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. 1 minute, 32 seconds to go. Well, as you survey the teams this year, Lincoln High and Lincoln Northeast, the 2 non-playoff teams from Class A, they've had good seasons, though up and down. I know the kids, I'm sure they've had a lot of fun. A lot of times we get so caught up in who's going to win and who's going to lose the game, we don't realize that afterwards the kids just shake it off. Go out for a pizza, have a good time, you know. Don't get so involved in winning and losing in athletics. That's what it's all about on the high school level. Third down and 8. Lincoln High School over the ball. Bill Tesh. Back to pass. He's looking on the near side. He's got a man, but look out. It is almost intercepted, but it's dropped. He was trying to hit Hopper on the near side, but a good play by the Lincoln East defender. That was Tim Clare. To all the seniors tonight of all the Lincoln schools, including Lincoln Pius X, we'd like to wish you well in your future endeavors. We've certainly enjoyed seeing you tonight. Seeing you all year long, for that matter. Fourth down and 8 for Lincoln High School. 1 minute, 26 seconds to go as we try and get all of the thank yous out of the way here. A lot of people responsible for Cablevision coverage. We'd like to thank them all. I'd like to give special thanks to our statistician, Ron Huber, who does a lot of work throughout the year. We really need the stats, and he does a good job with them. Hope you appreciate the statistical coverage provided by TV9. Pass on the near side falls incomplete. He was trying to hit Fiedler, and that might be the last gasp right there. There you see number 41 for Lincoln High, Brent Keller, a 165-pound junior. Brent, you'll be back next year. Don't let it get you down. 1:19 to go. Lincoln East with the ball. Don't forget, right after the conclusion of the game, we'll have an interview with Lee Zenick. Lee obviously happy with the game. 29-7 his team leads as we wind it down. But it isn't the last game for Lincoln East. They'll have a playoff game. The opponent, yet unnamed, yet undetermined for that matter. Peterson, I don't believe it. If he was back to pass, that's got to be his own signal, because I'm sure Lee Zenick wouldn't be passing the ball with a minute to go in a 29-7 rout. We'd like to thank all the coaches, Chuck Mazurski of Southeast, Lee Zenick of Lincoln East, Bob Starr of Lincoln High, Bob Ells of Lincoln Northeast, for their cooperation and patience with us this year as we get interviews and all the administrators. Face mask penalty down, face mask flag down as there's a penalty. Lincoln East running the ball, killing the clock with less than 45 seconds to go. I'd like to thank all the athletic directors of the Lincoln High Schools, Phil Sprague of East, Max Hester of Northeast, Jim Summers of Lincoln High, and Bill Miller, of course, of Lincoln Southeast. Second down and 13 with 44 seconds to go. Penalty will go against Lincoln High School, an unintentional, of course, face mask. And the stands are beginning to empty out here. We're about ready to empty out. 44 seconds to go. Coming in the game is number 35 for Lincoln East High School. That is Jeff Grenemeyer, a 155-pound senior. Gets his name in the books. Coming in the game, coming out is Kevin Hubble, a wide receiver, 145, and a junior for Coach Lee Zenick. 35 seconds, the clock is running. Peterson pitches it out the last second, a one-handed grab by Archfield, and Archfield goes out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. As if that's important right now. 27 seconds to go. The ball's on the 34-yard line. Number 71, Randy Wymore. 27 seconds to go. 29-7. Rich Clausen is freezing down on the field. It's been a great year for Lincoln East. And Lincoln Southeast, we really wish them the best in the playoffs. All the way east and southeast, here's the two Lincoln teams probably in the playoffs. Offsides penalty against Lincoln East. And there you see the scoreboard as we wind down on the 1979 season. First down and 10 for East. Now it'll be first down and 15. Ball's on the 39-yard line. 27 seconds to go. 29-7. Lincoln East gaining victory number 8 on the season. They won 8 out of 9 this year. The only loss was a loss to Lincoln Southeast, a one-pointer. Man slips down on the 40-yard line. That was Jerry Petenpole, 145-pound junior. So Petenpole slips down. The ball's marked inside the 40, and there's the scoreboard winding down on the 1979 season. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. They got off the last play. Okay, the last play of the season for us is incomplete. And that's going to do it. There you see it. Story of the year. The story of tonight's game, 29-7. Lincoln East over Lincoln High School. East High goes to 8-1 in the year. They're in the playoffs. The opponent unnamed, undetermined as of yet. We'll be back with concluding comments on this game and the season when we come back here on Cablevision TV 9.